Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott, and our good friend Merle is back for Paranormal Road Trippers and Ghosts of the Great White North. We're going to get into the paranormal in the next couple of hours, especially with special guest Michelle Cowan. She is from SoCal Spirit Seekers. We're going to have a good time with them tonight. And the best part about tonight when we get things started is we always love to say hello to each and every one of you, including Tim Mothman and his goatee in the gold medal position, Race Fan with a silver, T-Bone with a nice bronze medal tonight, Flat Six, how you doing? Kitty Caddywhack, nice to see you. Mel WD-40 is merling it up as we speak because he knows that you got to be nice and lubed for a show like this. Merle is lubed up. Thank you, Mel, for lubing Merle up for the paranormal talk tonight. Scrolling on down, we have Thunderhead. How you doing, buddy? And K17 Odd. How are you? JSCO, good to see you. Yeah, let's Merle it up, people. You know what he needs. You know, if you don't Merle it, he doesn't show up. Necessary Dialogue. How are you tonight? Nice to see you. Paramarv, what is going on? How you doing? And yeah, I did my hit on WPHT tonight with Gary Arnell. Love him. Desert Rat, nice to see you. Ozzy Ange is here. Ozzy Ange will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio if you don't mind. To the left of the studio. Robert Lamoth, nice to see you tonight. Mama Catherine, there she is. Mwah! I love you, my dear. I hope you had a great day. I know you always enjoy him when Merle's on, and I know he gives you a big hug too, because we love you around here. We do. You should just move up here. I think that would be cool. Just move up here. You could stay with us. Jaquetta, how are you? Vamp Skyder, nice to see you. As we continue on with our roll call, we say hello to Luscious Jules. Nice to have you here. Scrolling on down, we're going to say hello next to, well, let's take a little peek here. Lisa Smith, nice to see you. And, look at Jules there. I'm picking up Merle vibrations. That's right. That's good times right there. I know you love the Merle here. Scrolling on down, Trucker Andrew, how are you tonight? And Merle Merling himself in the chat room. And let's see, in the studio, nice to see you. Obsessed with Horror, welcome to SOR chat. You are more than welcome to be here. Thank you for joining us. And Tankella, nice to see you. Tankella will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio if you don't mind, to the right of the studio. Kurt M., how's it going? Integrationing, nice to see you. Stephanie, Kenny Blankenship, and Kathy Evans, nice to have you both here. Al Garay over on Twitch, so pumped up that Merle is here. He did 1,500 Merle ups in 12 minutes. He even took a 3-minute break in between just because he was signing autographs at the gym. Good job, Al Garay. Way to go tonight. Appreciate you. Walter Kochabinski, nice to see you. I'm Hardcore over on X. It's always good to have you here, especially when you're Merling it up. Carol Amario, nice to see you. Mystery Forums, welcome to SOR Chat. Thank you for joining us. And if you're coming over from B. Arthur's, the Paranormal Portal, welcome to all of you. We love having you guys here. East Coast Turnaround, thank you for coming on in, Merling it up on X. And Area 54, nice to have you kick off the Super Chat tonight. I hope you're doing well tonight, my friend. Thank you very much for your love and support of Spaced Out Radio all the way from beautiful Texas. All right, we're just going to get the radio side going. Hold on. Hello and welcome to the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Glad to have you all here as we get ready for Merle and the Ghosts of the Great White North. Our special guest tonight is Michelle Cowan. I actually got her last name right. I'm one of 6 people in her life who's pronounced it right the first time. I'm proud of that. Paranormal 24/7, welcome to SOR Chat. Chrissy Pissy, I love your name. Love it. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. Millennium, my man, nice to see you. And who is next on our list? It's Operation Shutdown, everybody. Hey, we're going to get going in 15 seconds. I'll say hello to the rest of you in the chat room. And don't forget, you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. So make sure you check it on out. Horns up. Let's rock.
Are you ready to hear your mystic voice of the night?
It's time to wake up.
He's here. Shush. Be quiet. He's ready for you to listen. Let's point our ears towards the little cabin in the woods, where together, my friends, we own the night. It's time for Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott.
From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. We're getting all ghostly tonight as our main man Merle is here for Ghosts of the Great White North. We have a special guest, Michelle Cowan, joining us from SoCal Spirit Seekers. We're going to find some good ghost stories for you tonight. Then in hour number 3, Swamp Dweller will kick things off. And then we are going to go to Terry Hall because it is the night of the weird news of the week. So let's get right to it because our main man, Merle, is here, a veteran paranormal investigator. Hell, I'll just call it. I think he's the top investigator in Canada. He's born in Langley, BC, height unknown, weight unknown, and is widely recognized by audiences as Merle in the paranormal world. With more than 2 decades of hands-on experience exploring the unexplained, Merle is known for his calm, methodical style that blends historical research with firsthand investigations. Since 2015, Merle has been a regular voice on Spaced Out Radio and Ghosts of the Great White North, where he shares chilling encounters, regional legends, and practical investigative insights with listeners across North America and beyond. And tonight, we're going to get more ghost stories. Let's bring them on in here. Merle, what's happening, my man? It's always good to see you, my friend.
It's always great to see you and be here for our once-a-month talk. And I'm excited for tonight because I think we got a lot of good stories coming out of California tonight. We haven't been down there for a while. So
no, we haven't. We haven't. And you know what? It's, man, there's so many ghost stories on the West Coast. I mean, when we think hauntings, we think the East Coast, we think Route 66. because of the population difference. It's a lot older than the western side of North America, populace-wise. And we don't think that there's really a lot of haunted locations until you go digging for them, Merle.
Exactly. And that's why we bring in Michelle, because she can highlight some of the fantastic ones of
Hi
California.
guys, thank you
How you
for
doing?
having me. I'm good. How are you gentlemen doing tonight?
We're fantastic.
Awesome.
good.
Well,
We're
great.
good
Thanks for
breathing.
having me.
You got to realize, Michelle, up here during the Olympics, there are certain things that we will hold our breath for. And Team Canada going to overtime in the Olympics, where we don't have a lot of luck in men's hockey. Well,
Yeah.
we were almost dead today, but that's okay. We got her
Oh,
back. We're
no.
breathing.
Okay.
The country is breathing. And so you're going to get a good show tonight because we're all oxygenated right now.
Good. Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. I need all of my viewers to be oxygenated. Well, not all of them. You know, some of them from the other side. You don't even know what they're breathing in. No, just kidding.
Michelle Cowan, let's learn a little bit about you here because, Merle always, when he searches for paranormal guests, he always looks for real intriguing stories, real intriguing people. And he said, Dave, we got to get Michelle on the show. I'm bringing her on. I'm like, cool, let's do it. How did the paranormal journey begin for you?
Well, good question. So it just started for me when I was a really, really young child. I was like living in a house that my mom had rented. I was about 7, 8 years old, and the house just had a lot of different unexplainable things that was happening. And we like the whole house layout, like the master was on one side and then all of the rooms were on the other side of the house. So me and my two brothers were like on the other side of the home, and it had 3 bedrooms. We actually each had our own room, but we would literally experience like the lights flickering. And at one point I thought it would be like my brother's messing with me at first, because there's 2 light switches for the hallway because it kind of zigzagged. And I always thought like for a while that they would just mess with me as a kid, but it actually wasn't, because they were experiencing the same things too. One of the biggest things was we were sitting in, my older brother wasn't home, and it was just me and my little brother, and we're sitting there watching a movie in our room, well, my room, I think, and we saw like a whole shadow figure just literally go by down the hallway, and we couldn't figure it out because it was just like me and him, and mom was asleep already. It was later in the evening, and we just couldn't explain it. And so this house was just like a really haunted home. And, I didn't know these things as a child, like what it really was. And back then we didn't have the, tools we do now to just go online and start researching and so forth. But we only lived there for like 8 months. We actually moved out of that home earlier than what my mom had signed the rent contract for, because of the level of activity was actually bugging a lot of us and interfering with a lot of our day to day. My little brother, this is one of the weirdest things, is he was old enough to know better, and it was just weird. He put a nickel in his mouth and started choking on it, and he was old enough to know not to put this in his mouth. It was just a really weird thing. And my stepdad grabbed him and gave him the Heimlich remover and got that coin out of his mouth. But I always thought to myself, because we asked him like, why did you do that? And he just kept saying, I don't know. And he was crying. And so I don't know if something was like trying to attach to him, but that was just one of many things we experienced in this home. So growing up in this environment, it was just like, it just stuck with me.
Did it stick with you throughout different places you've lived? Like, do you feel that
Yeah, I've definitely felt different things at different locations. Yeah, it just wasn't that home. I definitely do think there was an actual attachment to that specific house. I would actually love to go back to investigate that. I've never actually knocked on that person's door to this day that originally that actually owns it to investigate it, but I've always thought about doing that. But flash forward to other places I've lived, I've definitely experienced a lot of different activity. I do have a lot of deaths in my family. My grandparents passed by the time I was like 13, 14, 15 years of age. And I've always been like spiritually a spiritual person. And over the years, just had so many different things happen. And I'd coincide the two and two of like, my grandparents smoked, and every time I would smell like cigarette smoke, it just reminded me of them. And then like my grandma, like one time I was what was I doing? I think I was like I do some artwork and I was painting, and I smelled literally like tuna fish. And my grandma loved her tuna fish sandwiches. I was really close with her. We had a really close relationship, and I just got this overwhelming smell of it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But it made me happy because in that moment I just felt her presence, and I'd be like, oh hi. But so I've always just had these different experiences and kind of this sixth sense feeling and so forth that I've like experienced over the many years. So it just wasn't that house. It carried through to other things. And, it just made me very intrigued. And I wanted to learn more about, what happens like when you pass. Is there an other side, trying to also at the same time debunk things and do research. And, it just got my hamster wheel spinning. And, it's led to where I'm at today with it.
Which leads us to the SoCal Spirit Seekers.
Yes,
And
correct.
tell us about that. Tell us about your
Yeah,
group.
so SoCal Spirit Seekers, I've always been doing this. I've been, paranormal investigating. I've gone out with different groups, but I've never really put my name out there and association with an actual, investigation company. So, I took the initial step a few years ago. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I will go public, right? And create my own investigative team and do my own, research and do all that and put it out there publicly, because for so many years it's just been me, friends and family doing things kind of, not publicly and just for our own knowledge and own research. So finally I was like, you know what, let's do it publicly. I have some really great people in the community that kind of encouraged me and said, you really need to, you get some excellent evidence, just go out there and try it. So I was like, okay, what do I have to lose? I want to be able to get the information that I am capturing out there. So I came up with the, company or the name of the paranormal team, and we just go out and we investigate several different locations here in SoCal. I mean, we do go other places. We've been to Arizona and Nevada and Utah and so forth, but primarily since I do live here in Southern California, I primarily do focus geographically here. We do have so many places, like you're saying, that's kind of like underrated. There is a lot of history here. There is a lot of areas of interest of paranormal activity. And so I just try to dive deep into each location I go. Like, I'm a huge history buff type of person. I love like trying to figure out the history of that said building, the people that may have lived there, if anybody passed on that actual land or whatnot, and do all that and go in with everything I've learned and then do the investigation and go from there.
To me, that's the right way to do it. Do the history, get all your notes, and then actually
absolutely, yeah.
plan your investigation instead of going in and going, tell me your name, You go,
yeah, definitely. You definitely do that. Like, I always like, when I meet with say the owner of the building, like I like to be able to find out like, if it's like a commercial property, if there's, employees there, whomever is, occupying the building, find out who it is and hear their stories, figure out what is they're experiencing. And sometimes, a lot of times these people want help, they like want answers, right? That's what I want to do is they're seeking answers. And if I can give them those answers, I'm going to try my best to do so. So I try to figure out, who's here and go from there, because a lot of the times these, these spirits also want to communicate and they have a story to tell, as well as this side. So I'm trying to combine the two, but I want to know, how I can help both sides of the picture. And I think that's maybe something I do a little bit differently. And I try to go in and just capture the whole picture for everyone.
When you go down the paranormal road, what are you looking to find? What is your goal?
Well, personally, my goal is specifically for the person that brought me to that location. If they have a goal of, say, I'm currently working on a case where they have a lot of employees that have quit because of some paranormal activity that has been occurring, and it has scared the living daylights out of some of these people. And I want to make sure if like, I want to go in and see like, is it related to paranormal? Like, is this actually really happening, to the fact that they're actually scaring away these employees, the fact that they're quitting? Or is it something else? Is it something explainable that I can debunk? Is there too much EMF being emitted from old wiring that's causing crazy, electrical frequency waves and bad headaches and different things? Because, that can cause a bad environment. So I like to go in and figure out, the situation that's happening, and see how I can come and best utilize my expertise and my paranormal tools and equipment to help that specific situation. Because if I can go in and let these people know, okay, yeah, your place seems a bit haunted, but there's nothing demonic or anything super dark going on, and I don't feel that your employees or anybody here might be of a, threat or harmed or is in an unsafe environment. If I can provide that for somebody, that makes me feel like very useful and helpful for them, right? So that's one of the many reasons why I like to do what I do.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's like me as well. My first thing is preserving history and helping people.
Yes.
Those are kind of,
Absolutely.
I don't go in there to stir things up. I go in there to help, hopefully solve problems, or get an answer for someone. And I know there's a lot of people out there that just go in for the thrill. They like to poke the bear, so to speak, and
Oh,
that's not,
oh yeah, they definitely do, don't they?
yeah, and that's not fair to the location, the families, or even the spirits that inhabit the location.
Exactly. You just got to go in being super respectful, for anything and everybody involved within that said location, I don't want to go out there and, make up a story, or just go out there, like I'm not on a TV show or something, I'm not trying to make up something for TV time or for people to follow me or whatever. Like, I'm actually going in with the intention to help find a problem or a solution to an existing problem. And it just so happens to be in this paranormal field, right?
I'm really intrigued with the case you're working on now, where you're dealing with employees quitting without obviously saying names of companies and stuff. Can you tell us what's happening, what's going on, like a current
Yeah, so
active investigation you're doing?
yeah, well, I just posted the video to my YouTube channel. It was the prelim, so I'm at liberty legally to say it. So I was at Las Globos, and they are having some issues with employees experiencing stuff. They've even captured shadow figures. I have some of the posts on my Instagram account so you can see it. But I went out there, and I really wanted to dive in deep to see what was going on. But I'm actually going up for a follow up next month, because I'm taking a whole team with me. This was just a few of us that went out there. But the stories is that, like, even like a beer bottle was thrown, like a bottle, that they serve alcohol. Someone had like a beer bottle thrown at them. They've even had one where they were holding it and it just like exploded in their hand somehow. They're just seeing, like I said, some apparitions, some shadow figures, and just different things that's happening at this location. And so I'm just trying to figure out, like, who is it? Is that spiritually related, or is it something else that's going on? And trying to figure out which route is what, what's up from left from right, up from down. And by utilizing the different pieces of equipment, hopefully I can get answers from this. So with that being said, I've only did a prelim there. I call it a prelim, where I'm actually just I go out. That's like the first time meeting them. And I kind of just take a few little key pieces of equipment, get to just kind of interview and write down and figure out exactly what's going on, take notes, and then utilize a few different pieces of equipment to see what I pick up on in that first kind of like interview meeting. And then from that point, I'll come back out, and as long as they're okay with it, after that first meeting, and that they do want me to come back out, to go ahead and with the step 2 and do kind of like an overnight lockdown, where I'm there for like 12, 14 hours, so I can really dive deeper into these answers. Because I'm still interviewing. Like, we have a group chat, I'm having people tell me all their stories. It's a process, that I'm like having to go through before we even go back for the second round, right? But things like this, like, I want to help them, right? I want to make them know, like, you know, I'm hoping that all the spirits is positive, so they feel comfortable in that work environment, and people aren't scared of where they're working for their 8-hour shift or whatnot. You know, I want them to be comfortable, you know, because if there is something going on that's super duper dark, then we have to take it to another level and bring in some expertise and do some blessings and different things that we, you know, as paranormal investigators have resources to, you know, involve other people to come in and help elevate it if it needs to be elevated, you know. So that's kind of like one of the situations I'm dealing with right now. So where if I can be of use to somebody and help them, I want to do that. That's why I do this. That's the main reason why I do this.
And I appreciate that you said that you actually take the time. Like you're
Yeah.
doing 12 hours, you're doing maybe probably more,
Oh yeah.
and going multiple times. Because like for me, when I do an investigation or I help people, or where I'm trying to get, I call it a baseline haunt.
Sure.
Because you can, or I equate it to fishing. Sometimes you catch a fish, sometimes you don't. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's all up to the spirits if they want to talk to you or if they're there. And I like to get a baseline where I like to go to location maybe 3 to 4 times at different times, different days of the week, because it could be
Sure.
a residual haunting, could it be an intelligent haunting? Because if it's a residual haunting, it's only going to happen on a Tuesday at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
and it's cool to hear that you put the time in, you do the history, you do the interviews, and I'm hitting on that because I love hearing teams doing that instead of going in with a phone app talking to like nothing. But
Yeah, no, I
yeah,
feel you on that one. No, I'm 100%, you know, one of those people that's committed to, you know, if we're going to work together, it's because there's a purpose behind it. And, you know, I'll put my heart and soul into taking every piece of equipment I own, and I own a lot that I've acquired over the 20 years I've been doing this. And, you know, this is something that I'm just helping people. Like, we don't charge for this. This is just a service that I provide, you know, and basically I just document my findings on social media, and that's how I look at it as. Like I said, that's why like I really contemplated about going public and doing this for a long time. Like it took me like a whole year before I even decided to really do this. You know, a few years ago, I really thought about like, do I want that? Because there can be a lot of backlash and skepticism and ridicule and different things by putting yourself out there and so forth. So but I always found the deep pleasure inside of me of like actually helping people find answers. And that's why I always say seeking. I'm seeking out these answers for these people that are having difficulties, you know, whether it's a private residence and they're having major issues, or it's a lighthearted situation and they're just like, oh, I just want to know these people's names that's here, to what we're experiencing at a commercial property currently. Like that's what I do. It's a passion of mine. It has been, just because I've had so many different experiences over the years. So, you know, I just love doing this.
The love that you have for this, is we got about 2 minutes to go before we go to break,
Okay.
is is obviously very well shown in your words, in your voice, in the way you present this subject to the people. And we've only been talking to you for about 20 minutes here, and
Oh,
it's
thank
absolutely
you.
been great. For you, the journey, do you ever see an end game in your journey in the paranormal? You ever look and say, you know what,
Yeah.
when I find this, I will then leave, or if I solve this, it'll
You
be
know, I
over.
don't know if there's like an end game for me. I mean, it's an ever evolving community of, you know, like the whole topic is an ever evolving subject, I should say, because with the technology that we're getting, and like the electrical engineers and different people that are coming out with different devices for us to help communicate to the other side, and they keep coming out with better ones and more useful tools and equipment to help us do so. You know, I don't know if there's necessarily an end game. I mean, I'll probably do this until the day I cross over, if I'm being 100% honest, if I can, you know, God willing, hopefully. Because, you know, if I can continue to get answers and help people at the same time, then like, why quit?
I agree.
Thank you.
That's
Totally agree as well. You know, and but the fun that you have doing this, never mind the investigation. I don't know about you, but when I get ready to go to our local museum, or I get ready to go into the forest, I'm excited. I love
Yeah.
being there.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm doing something productive with my life. You the same?
Absolutely, 100%. I get so pumped up, so excited, like it's just such a passion of mine that I'm just like, okay, let's do this. And like, it's because every experience is completely different and I uncover new, different evidence, and I also try different techniques as well. So, with the combination all that, like I get excited, like I'm doing the happy dance, getting ready, packing up the truck with the gear.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to get you guys to hold on right there because we're going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. Our main man, Merle, is here from the Paranormal Road Trippers for Ghosts of the Great White North. And our special guest tonight, Michelle Cowan. She's from SoCal Spirit Seekers. We're going to get into some of her favorite ghost stories and encounters when we return. Let's get a little spooky in the next half hour, shall we? We'll be right back. All right, we are clear.
Okay.
Awesome. That was quick.
Please step away here for a second because my little dude just got home from hockey. I'll be right
I'm
back.
use the bathroom.
Sounds good.
Oh, you, buddy.
Tell Merle. What does everyone want to know? It's an open mic. I can tell you anything. Almost anything. That's a good curling joke. That's strong. It is open mic night. Could get a whack. Maybe I should want to try comedy. Do an open mic comedy night. Should we be doing stand up right now while we wait? Nah. All right, Michelle, where would you like to take it next half hour?
Okay, I didn't know if I was muted or not. Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to talk about like some of my craziest experiences, like
We are live on
my
YouTube right now, just to let you
oh,
know.
okay, well, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, one of my craziest experiences was when I was at the Joshua Tree Inn
Oh, yeah, we'll
in
talk
the
about that.
hotel. Yeah, that one was wild because we just got in there. We were only there for like 30 minutes or so, and we were loading up or unloading the gear to put in one of the rooms. And it was funny because there was like the sidewalk is like Mexican pavers, and there was like this little rock pebble kind of in the middle of it, and just kind of like kicked it out of the way back into like the little bushy garden area. Didn't think anything of it, just kicked it out of the way. And then like 10 minutes later, we're kind of like standing there in this the courtyard area, and we were getting ready to do a couple of like B-roll shots, and I was standing there with my phone like this, and then another person was standing next to me, and we're kind of just reviewing a couple things really quick, and a rock came out of nowhere, just nowhere, hit the phone, bounced off and hit me. And
Dang.
I was just like, what the heck was that? Like, I was just dumbfounded, and we're the only ones at this place. Like, no one else is there. The owners aren't even there anymore. None of the other rooms are being rented out. And it was just mind blowing to me. And it came with such force. And like, I was just double checking. So I'm trying to back. I'm like, did a bird drop a rock and hit me? Like, I'm trying to think of all these things but like with the angle where we weren't next to any trees, and it just came out of like midair, and I'm just like, what the heck? That was like one of the craziest things like I've ever experienced.
That's
Well,
awesome.
hold on. No more stories during the break.
No.
No more. Merle, you know the rules.
Yep. Joe Monk and Paramarv, we have a perfect storm on our hands. So not only did we bring back her, the creepy one that everyone wanted to come back, I put her back on the wall. Right here is a Ouija board from 1881. So
Wow.
hopefully those two talk to each other. And then this one is 1912. So they're old. Yeah. But
All right,
yeah,
we got about a minute to go here.
I know we're on the YouTube side, so I can talk about it because people can see us. In the past, people say that they've seen the facial expression or the positions of the lady move during the show. So keep an eye out to our YouTube listeners. I'm just curious if you see any sort of like light anomalies or anything. Let me know in the chat. Let Dave know.
Those look really cool though.
Yeah.
Like I like the way you presented them.
Yeah, that looks really badass, dude.
Mhm.
Big thank you tonight to Jake, T-Bone, and Area 54 for the super chats. We greatly appreciate it. Tyler 420, how you doing? Nice to see you. Don't forget you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. Nothing ugly at our store. You can wear our clothing out in public and actually be proud to wear it. So go check it on out. Here we go, everybody. Here we go with the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We appreciate you tuning us on in as we got our main paranormal man, Merle, here hanging on out with us. Hey, we want to remind all of you that if you missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. All right, from the Paranormal Road Trippers, based out of Vancouver, British Columbia, our paranormal guru, Merle, we call him, and our special guest, Michelle Cowan, tonight from SoCal Spirit Seekers in California. We're glad to have him. And Merle, thank you for joining us. And Michelle, I hope you're having a great time.
I am. Thank you so much for having me.
Dave, whenever you introduce me, you make me want to do like the rock sniff in the air because you just pump those tires great.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what I do for you, buddy. You know that. I mean, you know, you don't call me anymore. You don't text
I called
me
you today.
I know. I'm just
And
teasing.
yesterday.
I'm just teasing. Michelle, you know, over the 20 years you have been investigating, there's probably some pretty hairy stories that you have that are maybe unexplained or just still stick in your mind as I can't believe that happened. I would love it if you would share with us a couple of those stories.
Yeah, absolutely. So the one that sticks out the most is the one that I just experienced recently at the Joshua Tree Inn. That one was absolutely wild. We were up there just getting ready to set up stuff. We had the place to ourselves. We were unloading the equipment off the truck, putting it actually into Graham Parsons' room. He is the singer that is affiliated with that hotel that passed away. There's a whole backstory to that, but we were just getting everything ready, and we were walking down the sidewalks that led to the rooms, and they're like Mexican pavers, and there was like a little pebble rock in the way, and I just kind of kicked it out of the ways because, you know, we're rolling gear back and forth, and I didn't want it to get like stuck in the equipment, so I just kind of kicked it out where it went right back into the little rock garden area. It was probably where it came from. And then flash forward like 10 more minutes, and then we were doing some stuff in the garden area, and we were doing some B-roll shots and talking and reviewing some video real quick on our phones. And then all of a sudden, a rock just came out of nowhere and hit the phone and bounced off of my phone, kind of hit me a little bit, and then bounced to the ground. And I was just like, I was breathless, like speechless for like 5 seconds. I just like didn't even know what to say. I'm like, was that like a rock? And I like looked on the ground and, picked it up, and like sure as heck it was a rock. And I'm like, what and I was trying to debunk this. I'm like, there's no trees around. I'm like, did a bird, like fly by and drop it? But I don't recall seeing anything fly over my head, and I didn't correlate it until a little while later after one of my team members had said, do you remember when you kicked that rock? Like, do you think they got mad and thought you were being disrespectful and then they threw the rock at you? And I'm like, I don't know. It could be. But that was one of the most craziest things. And you do hear that when a rock gets thrown at you, it can be at times demonic, or maybe they're just being playful. That's still to be determined. But it did get the night off to a rocky start.
That joke. That was a good
Yeah,
one.
I had to.
I
But
feel
yeah,
there.
have you guys had anything thrown at you before?
I've had one rock.
Yeah.
One rock. And that was a few years ago at our original gifting site in the forest here. And it was interesting. It came from behind my friend and I. We were kind of looking in the wrong direction, and the rock was thrown right by us. It nearly hit my truck.
Wow.
Couldn't find the rock, but when a rock gets thrown, it makes a distinct sound when it hits other rocks. And so it's pretty easy. But I've never had, like you get a lot of these Bigfoot researchers out there who are like getting rocks thrown at them all the time. Sometimes they get hit. I've seen a couple videos where guys allegedly got knocked out by this happening,
Wow.
but I've never had like the full on like walking through the trees and being peppered by rocks, even at our Flight 21 location. That's never happened.
Well, Dave, hold my beer. Do I got a story for you? It's not a rock, it's a painting. This was many moons ago, probably circa 2015, to be honest. We were investigating a historical building in the interior of British Columbia, and it was a Chi Kung Tong building. And I know we've talked about the Tong on the show before. So the Tong were China's version, like the Chinese version of Freemasons. They would come over to Canada or the United States and work in the gold rush. And they had their brotherhood, the Tong, where they would set up the new immigrants with jobs, food, and lodging. And we were in the Tong building, and one of the investigators, he was walking through, and I was filming at this time. And he goes, "Are any of you people here?" Where 2015, that probably doesn't sound very politically correct, but the intent wasn't being rude. It was just basically asking if is anyone here. And all of a sudden, he said that he felt like he walked through cobwebs, which is a telltale sign that energy is picking up, and the temperature dipped. And then all of a sudden, he said his back started burning. And this was northern British Columbia, so like 5 hours north of Dave, March. So this is still in Canadian. I don't know what the American temperature would be, but like -15 Canadian. So he ran out of this building, and when he was running, it wasn't his wind because it was far enough away where it wouldn't affect him, but a painting probably 2 feet by 4 feet, or probably 2 by 3, launched off the wall towards him.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What?
And I'm just watching, I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, don't leave me alone in here. That's not cool. I'm alone. I got to walk through all this now. And all I had was like a
would
night
be
vision.
out of there so quick.
Yeah. And it was all pitch black, and all I had was my night vision camera, the screen to look through to get out of this building. And when we get outside, he's taking off his jacket. Mind you, picture snow and ice at like at nighttime, so it's cold. He gets all of his base layers off, and he had 3 giant scratches on his back.
Oof, yeah, that's not a
Yeah.
good sign.
But just like either a rock or a painting being tossed, doesn't matter the size of what happened. It's the intent of that you're getting something launched at you or thrown at you from the other
Exactly.
side. So they
Yeah.
have that energy, and that's nothing to shake a stick at. That's a lot of energy that they can produce and have to launch something at you. So you really got to be mindful and really kind of take a step back when that happens to be like, why? Like you said, could it be dark? Could it be a trick? Could it be playing around? You don't know. And that's where the history and the questioning comes into play.
Exactly. That's where you look at your overall experience at that location from beginning to end, including like such a big incident like that to occur. And then you have to kind of put the puzzle pieces together and figure out like what that meant in that moment for something of that magnitude to happen and why.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's pretty big. I mean, to be able to like, that's a lot of energy for a big painting like that to come off and be lifted up and ejected off the wall. That's a lot of force, definitely.
Yeah.
Wow. How long ago you said that happened?
Michelle, we're talking about physical interactions with
Oh yeah.
spirits. Have you ever been attacked by a ghost or a spirit? And if so, tell us that story.
Okay, so Queen Mary, I investigated the Queen Mary quite a lot.
I
So
want to do that one so
I'll
bad.
say dozens of times with what was that? I'm sorry.
I want to do that one so bad. Sorry.
Oh, we gotta do it together then. So
Yeah.
the Queen Mary, I love that ship. I have just an immense amount of respect for it, for so many reasons. But I'll just get to the gist of this one. One of the many times we were there, one of my crew members had gotten an attachment because they took or they said one thing that I tell people not to do is like take my energy, giving spirits that terminology and saying you can take my energy when we're somewhere very haunted. So I never advise doing that anywhere ever for anybody, and they made that mistake. And they fast forward to like a couple days later, that person experienced a lot of bad things happening at their home. So I said, come over and I'm going to give you a blessing. I have a little thing that I like to do to help out. And I had another person come to help do this blessing. And we did it like outside on like, I have RV parking side yard area. And because usually, even when we leave the Queen Mary, I'll back up really quick. We always do like a sage and Palo Santo blessing, even before we leave like the property of the Queen Mary in the parking lot. But the person kind of messed up by doing so. I feel that in my whole heart. So when we did the blessing over here at the house, and the attachment, I think, decided to just attach to me in my house. Needless to say, I would say more or less my house it attached to. So what happened was that person left, and literally the next day in my garage I woke up and I have like we'll have a crystal and jewelry business, and I have this like little room divider out there that divides the space up from another cabinet section. And I've had this set up for years like this, and the whole thing was knocked over, and it knocked over and landed on one of the tables amongst with some other stuff that fell over. And I was like, what the, I was trying to think logically, what the heck is going on? And then I go outside, and I have glass display cabinets in there for the crystal cabinet, but I don't use the glass sliding doors. I just left them on the side of my house, but they are kind of like wrapped up, and just kind of on the side of the house. But they're really heavy. These are like 80-pound glass doors that are just kind of leaning against the house. And I opened the side door over here, and the whole glass, everything was over on the floor on the side of the side yard, just laying there. And like, kind of like not even shattered, like they weren't even cracked or broken. It almost looked like it was just like nicely placed over. And I'm like, what? And like, I was just like, I couldn't explain to it. There was no winds, there was no rain, we had no weather. I'm in SoCal. So like that's knocked over, this is knocked over. And I just thought to myself, oh my goodness, I think whatever I got off of that her attached here to the house. And
Mm.
so then I had to do another whole like blessing thing. Like things were just not right for like the 24, 48 hours. Things were happening. There's a lot more to it. But I don't think it was personally attached to me. It was just to the house, to my property. So I had to have the person come back with a different person and literally like a priest to come and bless. This is the first and only time I've ever had to do this. And after all said and done, she was okay and I'm okay and never had one incident to this day for that. But that was pretty wild. Like I have videos of it. Of like the
Wow.
aftermath. Yeah, I took videos in the moment because I'm like, I had to record it because I'm like, what is going on? You know, like I live by myself. Like this is like I don't have anybody playing a prank on me. So what is going on? You know, and it just happened to be the timing right after, you know, we were helping the person with their specific attachment. So I mean, I just felt in my heart that it was something spiritual that was kind of very dark, and it was mad that it got removed from her. And then it was like, well, I'm gonna sink my claws into your property, I think, or something of that nature. But yeah, that was really heavy. Like I kind of took a whole month just to like decompress and not do anything paranormal related. And I was a little nervous getting back out there doing stuff, but I didn't have any other issues. Like there's nothing else that had happened going forward.
Wow.
Yeah, it
Dave,
was wild.
Dave, you've had similar occurrences when you've helped people and have had things kind of lay into you as well, yeah?
Yeah, it's been tough at times. You know, I had at our museum a couple years ago, I had a lady get possessed.
Wow.
And eventually, and a lot of people will say, Dave, never do that, never do that. But I don't talk about my own spiritual path that I'm on. And Merle, you've seen me work at times up close, and I could do some weird stuff. You know, I'll leave it at that. I can do some weird stuff. Merle tips his head because he doesn't want to admit it. Right. And literally the only way I could get this spirit out of her was to put it in me.
Oh my goodness.
And then I had to go release it. But I've been attacked a couple of times by spirits at our barn, especially. It always seems to happen in the barn at our museum. And it's very, very, it's a sick feeling because you feel once the spirit leaves your body, you instantly get that hangover feeling, like you went too heavy at the party on tequila. And it affects you for the next couple of days. And it's not a fun feeling to have a bad attachment to you, you know, especially one that thinks it can dominate you, but when it realizes it can't, then you don't have to, how do you put it? It's just not a comfortable feeling.
Yeah.
Do it. But I would sooner in this type of case, I would sooner do my client the favor and take it out of them for their safety and put it into me, where at least I know how to handle it and I have people who can handle that, and then take over from there. To me, that's safer.
Yeah, well, that's very brave of you for sure.
I want nothing to do with that stuff. I've had a couple encounters where I've had a spirit touch my neck before and kind of squeeze.
Yeah.
And in the same house a handful of years later, I had something slap my arm as well.
Ooh, wow.
And, could it be
Did
the
it
same
leave
spirit?
did it leave a mark or no?
No, not really, but
Okay.
the hand left a bit of a print. I never tucked tail
Ooh.
and ran out of a place in my life so fast. I probably would win Olympic medals with that speed. But it's no joke. I know a lot of people, like when I first started investigating, and I'm pretty sure we all can attest to this. It doesn't happen, or it's not real unless it happens to me. I was guilty for that, and I I've been investigating since about 1997, 1998. So I've been around for a while. And I used to be your typical show me yourself guy. I'll be
Mm.
accountable for my young actions. And but I learned right quick, like with Ouija boards, like behind me, I learned that they're real. I've had experiences where we were doing it one night, and my friend who wasn't doing it and was just watching, he goes, "If this is real, spell out what my worst fear is." And we have no clue. We're dudes. We don't talk about worst fears. And it spelt out white pit bull, and
Oh.
like specifically. And that night, we just go to 7-Eleven. It was a hot summer night to go get some Slurpees, and all of a sudden, a white pit bull comes out of nowhere and corners him away from us. He didn't bite him. He
No.
lunged at him. He barked and growled, and then he just went off. And that was probably 99, 98. And that's when I really started to push the envelope and wanting to know more and investigate.
Mm.
And attachments as well. They're a real deal, Dave. You're just saying you had attachments and it could flex in your head. I've had them before, and it's kind of like a little voice in there, and it makes you a little cranky, makes you tired. Well, it did for me when I had one. I got one from Dave's location, 108 Mile Ranch, and
And y'all want me to come to this? No, I'm just kidding.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
No, I'll come. You sign me up for it.
no, and it's a wonderful location. Like it's
Mhm.
probably one of my favorites, and but you got to respect it because it will, and that's like what we talked about in the first half hour. Respect is king. If you don't
Mhm.
respect his spirit, they can make you respect them. And I'd
Absolutely.
rather be on the right side of a spirit than the bad one.
Oh, I
Um,
agree.
I've never that's one thing we can start talking about now or even next half hour is 4 minutes. So what we'll set up for next half hour. Um, darker spirits. Like have you dealt with darker spirits, demonic things? I have, knock on wood, never dealt with anything demonic. I've dealt with things that are really negative and maybe a little dark and kind of cranky, but nothing with like not the big D, none of
I've
that.
had demonic things happen and
Mhm.
like caught EVPs that are I would consider demonic, and then we're still trying to determine is a dark shadow demonic. I mean, that's up to question. But for me, like super duper demonic, I would say no. I mean, I take every precaution in the world. Like that whole incident happening at my house, I would call that a pretty much a demonic incident that might have occurred in my own home.
Mhm.
But like witnessing something on site, like I will classify like a little bit of, I have an EVP and it's from the Queen Mary, and it was a trickster trying to think it was one of my family members that had passed, and it actually wasn't. And I even have the EVP say it wanted to take my soul
Wow.
and it loved me. And that was very creepy and very dark in my eyes. I mean, that is something that's out for a whole nother thing. So yeah, as far as that goes, I'm probably more on the lines with you, Merle, is like, I've experienced and witnessed some stuff like come through on different devices. I have seen some dark shadow figures, but I haven't actually like been possessed myself. I haven't seen, well, maybe who got a little carried away at the Queen Mary, they had an attachment, but I don't know if she was fully like, I don't know if I would call her fully possessed. But there's so many different, like, I would not necessarily levels, but categorize it as like there's different types of different demonic things that can happen to categorize that, I think.
I
So
think
Okay.
when
yeah.
you're dealing with the darker spirits, though, I mean, that's what brings in the ratings. That's what brings in all the clicks on social media is the darker stuff. But I find, at least in the few locations that I've been, the darker side of it is so rare compared to when you're dealing with the spirits. And I think
Yeah, I
we
agree.
blow that out of proportion a little bit. Do you not think?
Oh, I absolutely do. I think a lot of people for clicks and likes and views and follows do a lot of just highlighting if they experience the darker more than anything. I mean, to me, like 95% of my investigation is always on the lighter side and my findings and all of my evidence. It's more rare for me to come across something that is considered demonic or dark. So yeah, and even then I get hesitant on even sharing that at times. I'm gonna be honest. Like I'm like, do I even want anybody to hear that or see that or know that? Like, and sometimes if I'm working with a certain client, they don't want people to know like that they might have demonic activity or they might have something categorized in that realm, right? So I have to be very careful with that. Like I'm not a views, likes, and follows types of person. I do this for actual research and finding answers and helping people. I do it for a
Awesome.
whole different reason than what maybe some other people out there might be doing it for.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
No,
the
I
one, oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead, Dave. Sorry. I was going to say the one time I did have, I guess, a demonic, as I air quote for our listeners, come through was at a location, a historic site. And as soon as it came through and I verified the name, I shut the investigation down immediately. And I'm like, I literally said, we're done.
Yep.
Because I don't want to have to deal with the repercussions of pushing that bear.
Yeah, pushing the envelope. If I'm doing it for someone to find answers in their own home or their own environment, I have to do it. But 99% of the time, if I'm doing my own investigation for whatever own reasons and that comes across, it's done.
We got Merle, we got Michelle Cowan, and we got them for another hour on Spaced Out Radio's Ghost of the Great White North. Coming up next. This is Spaced Out Radio with host Dave Scott. All right, we are clear. And I'm going to take a quick break here.
Me too. I'll be right back.
All right. I'm just going
All
to,
right.
I'll put you guys back in the green room here. Be right
Okay.
back. Here is my schedule coming up for the next little bit here. Make sure you check it on out. right. I am back. Let's get rid of that. There will be a change to that as Merle and I are not going to be doing our Vegas party. We're going to reschedule it, excuse me, to a later date. 24 Vampire Man. I am in central British Columbia in the Caribou region at 100 Mile House, a little town, about 2,500 people. Matthew Goodka, how are you tonight? Thank you for joining us. Hi there, Deborah Rooney. How are you? And let's see. Thank you, T-Bone, for gifting a membership and your super chat, along with Area 54 and Jake. We appreciate it. And we go from there. We got lots of good questions coming up. We will get some questions here. Merle likes it when the questions are asked. So if you have any questions, please put them in capital letters inside our chat room. We'd appreciate it. And what else can we tell you?
Get the party started.
Yeah, well, let's bring Merle back in. There he is.
Now it's a
Merle.
party. Merle.
Now it's
How do you
officially
like
the
your
party.
name so far?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, what you say,
Huh?
Dave?
How have you liked your name so far?
It's a good one. It's a good one. I'm just still admiring. I got to make sure my background's good. Yeah.
All right. Here's your next name, Merle. You'll like this one.
Okay.
What does it say?
It's good. He's picking Team Canada hockey player names and he's putting my Merle into it.
Ah, I see. Gotcha.
Free your mind. How are you? Nice to see you.
I gotta up my background game. You guys got some cool background stuff.
All right. We're coming back in 5 seconds. Hold on. We are into the second hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Thank you for joining us. My name is Dave Scott. We appreciate you tuning us on in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram, Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam is set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Quagswag. Quagswag is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Here's our main man, Merle, from the Paranormal Road Trippers. He comes in each and every month, talk about some ghostly stories on Ghosts of the Great White North. Our special guest tonight is Michelle Cowan. She's from SoCal Spirit Seekers out of California. We're glad to have you here, Michelle, with Merle and myself tonight.
Again, thank you for having me. So excited to be here.
Hour 2, let's go.
We were talking about the darker side of the paranormal right before this, and we all had kind of agreed that the darker demonic stuff really isn't there. But Merle brought up a good point a couple of months ago on this show, and I want to get your opinion on it because I think it's very important in the paranormal world for people looking into this, especially those who are searching on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, and all of the major paranormal social media sites that we use in order to show off what we do. And it caught me off guard when Merle said this and mentioned this, and I'm going to mention it to you. Are you finding it harder to get locations because other paranormal teams have ruined them by creating demon stories or creating difficult stories for museums or restaurants or bars and grills or hotels or any place like that?
Yeah, I mean, I have ran into those circumstances before where there has been people that have previously investigated it and they were just not happy with how they portrayed that said location and was hesitant on even working with me or whatnot. But the thing is, let me just come in and be real. Like, obviously, if you had issues with them, then they didn't honestly come in with an open heart and did it for the right reasons. And I'll explain that to them, like, depending on the situation, tell me the situation and we can go from there. So I have had that come up. Luckily, a lot of the paranormal community I've been dealing with here in SoCal has been absolutely pleasant to work with. I have a lot of great people in the community down here, and we collab a lot. And a lot of the locations that I've been getting access to lately, have been some new locations, honestly. Some of them, yeah, some people might have known or recognized and so forth. And then there's also others that haven't even had a paranormal investigator come in, hence the Los Globos location I'm working on now. I'm also working on another location coming next week, which is actually another lounge type of environment. But above the lounge is actually a 3-level or 4-level antique store with lots of haunted items. So
Damn.
they've been having a lot of activity happening over there, but they've never had a paranormal investigator come in. I was actually there the other night doing just a little prelim meeting type of thing and just hearing about all their stories and history. And literally, like, it was very active in just the few minutes I turned on a REM pod and a spirit box. And so yeah, just to answer your question, like, it really depends, but 90% of the time I don't really have any issues with getting locations.
Then you're one of the lucky ones, because Merle, you were telling some stories that a lot of locations are kind of starting to lock haunting or paranormal teams down, signing waivers. Many are even charging. I know at the museum that we are doing our Haunted 108 project now. This has been a point of discussion for what we have learned through what you said and the research I've done on it. That there are these paranormal teams out there that are spooking locations and giving museums and restaurants a little bit of a bad name, that the clientele doesn't want to go and eat with demons or stay at a hotel that has demons or anything like that.
Like
Yeah, some
there's
people worry about the tourism side affecting their business with that, but yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, because one location I can think of, which I support them for doing this, and it's keeping their history going and their credibility, is the Washoe Club. When you go to the Washoe Club, you have to sign a waiver saying that you're not going to do certain things there, like Ouija boards or demons.
Mm.
Have at it. Talk to their history, talk to their spirits, and talk to the ghost stories that have come out of there. But like, I kind of like how they put a boundary up for that, because I know that there's locations up here where people have gone in and they're like, oh man, you got Hell's Demon number 6 here and you better go. Or and when you tell that to a client, you go into a family's home and they're like, there's something in the house, it's lights are turning on and we hear voices. You, as an investigator, you go in there and they have all eyes are on you, all trust is on you, to either play it up to get more investigations or personal gain, or you play it face value and actually tell them. Because I've heard from a few people that have had various teams up here say, they said I have a demon, they said that there's a negative entity that is draining my life. And I'm like, you really need to shop around your teams and stuff. And it gives us a bad name, is kind of what I'm saying. And just
Yeah, it does suck. It is unfortunate when things like that do happen, when people falsify information or,
Yeah.
They're just playing it up. I feel like a lot of younger crowds these days that's just doesn't really know what they're doing. They think it's more of just like avenue of revenue for social media these days to just go talk it up and get views because, oh, this place is so demonic. Come check it out. Oh my God, the demons everywhere. And like, then you're like pretty much much like lying and having all this falsified information. You're freaking out the people that own the building or the home or whatnot, you know? Like I've seen so much of this YouTube content where it's like demon this and demon that. Like every thumbnail has to do with like a little demon on it. And like, ooh, did I just encounter the demon in the basement? You know, like every single other one I've seen lately has been like that. And I'm like, I question it. I'm like, are we sure about that, guys? You know?
But it's the same thing in the UFO world or the cryptid world, where it's the clickbait headline that is doing that.
Mhm.
Demons are a sexy headline, you know?
Absolutely.
And when you have that sexy headline, a lot of people who are intrigued by the subject or fans of the subject will go click on that because they want to see what this alleged demon is. And hey, it could be a shadow person down the hall, but they are more worried. I think they're more concerned about the clicks, the views, the subscribership, and the potential of the profit of a million view video.
Absolutely.
Like that they are about the business or the person's home
Yeah.
or a cemetery that is actually there for any other purpose, you know? And I think that, like, I know with our tours, because of what I've learned from Merle and talking to other paranormal people about this, one of the things that we're going to be doing at our museum when we start up our tours is that if paranormal teams want to come in and investigate, that's fine and dandy. But
Mhm.
it will have to have and pay for a caretaker from the museum, from our team, to come walk the grounds with you,
Mhm.
because we're not going to play the demon game.
Exactly.
You know, I don't care about your clicks. I care about the museum and the reputation
Absolutely.
of my museum.
Yeah.
And the
100%.
unfortunate part about it is, pardon me for my little rant here and grandstanding, but I think a lot of these museums that allow paranormal teams in, they don't have that person who understands what paranormal investigators do. If it's a
Mhm.
museum, they're like, "Oh, we're so excited to have you here. We're excited to see what you catch." And then they go sit in their office for 2, 3, 4 hours, however long the investigation is, and then they lock the doors afterwards. Most of those museums and places don't even get a response from the paranormal team to find out what they got. They have to find it on their social media pages, most of which
Mhm.
are obscure. So I think it gives the field a little bit of a weak name when we have teams doing that, when they're more interested in the social media clicks than they are of telling the story.
Exactly. No, I agree. There's a lot of people out there that's like that. Like, I don't monetize, you know, I do have a lot of followers, but I don't monetize. I don't have a subscription. I'm not charging people. I only have 700 subscribers on YouTube. I'm not out here. I've never made a penny on paranormal. It's actually cost me thousands of dollars to
I
do
hear
what
you.
I do. Like, my equipment I've acquired over the years is pricey, you know. But I will say, in regards to, you know, I have been lucky in getting some great locations. I do not like when the locations want to charge you through the roof. That's what drives me nuts, you know. You know, I had one location, I won't name names, but it was a well-known museum in San Diego area, and they wanted to charge almost $3,000 for us to
Oh
just
my
come and do
God.
a 6-hour paranormal investigation. And I was like, excuse me? Really? Like, I mean, that's when it's getting greedy, and that's like a well-known location. So some of these locations, what I don't like is utilizing it to their advantage, you know, when they have been blown up on the social media outlets. And then, you know, say a little ma pa, you know, research team wants to come in and experience it on our own. Cause yeah, maybe I want to see, did those guys really catch that demon? What the heck is going on there? Why is all this clickbait going on? Right? I want to come in and see what's going on. I'm the real deal. And then I'm not going to pay no 3K to go do that though. Like, that's just crazy, but it's because they got elevated on the social media platforms from, you know, specific groups that are going in and doing the clickbait. So
It's
there's
it,
my rant.
no, that's good. Just to play off both of you, like I'll use the
Yeah.
Waffle Club again. Um, I went there as me and my buddy. We just the two of us rented it for the whole night, and I'd watched all the videos, everything. I'm like, oh, I'm going into a paranormal war. Things are gonna happen. There's gonna be lots going down, and I'm finishing up my video now, but I got about 6 or 7 really good Class A EVPs throughout my
Mhm.
investigation, but I wasn't scared. I was going off of I got startled once, but, like, I was going off of a lot of these videos where people are like, "Darkest moment of all time," like, that's the name of their YouTube video, or "The shadow almost took me," like, those are the type of videos that they but, like, I guess I went in there with a lot of preconceived notions from all the shows, right? Because 'Cause they're
Sure.
everywhere, and yeah, after, like, 12 a.m., it was quiet. I coulda went to bed there, like, I wasn't
Wow.
but I'm not downplaying the Washoe Club. The things I experienced, I sure did experience things,
Mhm,
um,
mhm.
but and I'd love to go there again and check it out and then do it again, but it I the demon word is tossed around a little too much, I think.
I agree. It
Anyhow,
definitely has been a lot lately. Like the last year or two, I've just seen it emphasized on like every thumbnail these days. And it's
yeah,
just, yeah, it's just like, wow. Like you said, it goes back to the whole reversal. It's like 95% of my encounters have always been positive, and
mhm,
it's more rare for me to encounter something dark, you know. And even then, I'm like, do I even want to put that out there? Because if it is an actually dark location, like I need to review that and study that first with the owner of that property and see if we just need to help that situation and get that resolved. Like I don't need to put that out there on social media for people to see what the heck is going on that. I need to help the person and the people in need, and not just put it as a damn thumbnail so I can get, you know, an extra 10,000 views or something ridiculous, you know.
for sure.
Mhm.
Let's go back to locations, Dave. Um,
Sure.
you, Michelle, you were talking about the Brackenfern Manor. That's,
Yes, this is
now
like my home away from home.
yeah, and that's the one that we started chatting about, like, to collab with. Tell the viewers of
Mhm.
this place. I've snooped it on, like, the websites and stuff like that, and it looks amazing. It's
It
one that
is
I really look
an
forward to doing.
incredible location, and
Mhm,
I have been investigating there for like the last couple of years. It
mhm,
has been featured on pretty much every paranormal show you can think of under the sun. But the owner, his name is John Connor, and he is family to me. I've
awesome.
known him for a long time, and like we spend holidays together. We're just very, very close.
Do
But
you have
this
to watch out for Terminator around him?
I know. It was so funny. The other day he left, he's like, before he left the room, he's like, I'll be back. It's so cute. We tease him all the time. He loves it though. But he's owned the property since over a decade now. And the properties are like 100 years old this July. So we're going to be doing a big July 100-year anniversary shindig, which will be fun. But so the property, I'll explain it for those that don't know. This is called the Tudor House in Brackenfern Manor. It's located in Lake Arrowhead, California, which sits up at about 5,500 feet up in the mountains. Beautiful little community, probably has, you know, a few thousand people that live up there. And it's just a beautiful, breathtaking piece of land. And the Tudor House is about 35,000 square feet. It has a basement, a main level, which the main level has a stage for performances. They do have plays and bands and different performers that come through. And then upstairs, there's like almost like an apartment style on the very top. And then it's got two kitchens, a commercial kitchen and a private kitchen. And it is just a glorious time in itself, because it's was built in 1926, and the original owners had only owned it for about a couple years because they used and borrowed some money from the mob, and they couldn't pay back the loan, the remainder of the loan. So at one point, Mr. Bugsy Siegel came in, took over, and he used it for his fun gambling hall. Like it was, when Prohibition era happened, this was the place to be because it hosted a lot of different celebrities. And, the mobsters had all the ties to get anything and everything you need as far as alcohol and so forth. There was endless supplies there, literally. And they actually built a tunnel system from the Tudor to the Brackenford Manor to go back
Wow.
and forth and evade, if they need to go hide out or they they hid the booze there. But the Brackenford Manor sits approximately, I would say, I don't know, 20, 40 yards from the Tudor. Outside of it is the Bracken. And then the Brackenfern is a 3-level hotel, you can say now. It's got 10 bedrooms and 10 bathrooms. And it's like you stepped back into 1920s and 30s era when you walk in. It's really cool. And so it used to be a brothel when Bugsy Siegel was running the property. And there has been a few documented deaths over the years in the manor. A woman by the name of Violet was murdered because we think she owed a debt and she didn't pay it in time, and she was thrown off one of the balconies. So that was a terrible death she succumbed to. And then in recent years, there was one of the former managers that worked for John. She just had a typical like outpatient knee surgery type of situation. And she was actually living in kind of the apartment above the Tudor. Actually, there's 2 apartments. She was living in one of them. And unfortunately, she got some sort of blood clot that had happened and she passed away in the upstairs area of the Tudor house. And so those are each like a documented death in each of the buildings. Plus there was a little boy that was playing in the street, and a delivery driver had hit him and he died. And I believe he was 8 years old, and this was in the 50s that he had passed. So those are just some of the few documented deaths. And the other history is just so wild as well. I can go on for hours, but the property is, when you step on it, you just feel like you're stepping back into time, right? And I've only encountered like a lot of positive things there. I did have one little dark something happen, but it was just one and done. And I think I feel like it was more because of who I was with. Another story on that one. But yeah, so the property itself is absolutely incredible. I love it there. I am there like, I don't know, I feel like I'm there almost weekly, it seems like. Just because like, I mean, I just spent Valentine's Day there, they had like some performers and I just hung out with John and, had some drinks and hung out and so forth. So I'm there like all the time, and I am going to start doing some tours for the property. I just love this place, and I just want people to be able to experience it, do a historical and paranormal tour. So that's kind of like what I'm working on, and that's kind of probably the post I think you came across that I had did for the collabs and so forth. But yeah, I just love this place. Every time I bust out a piece of equipment, it is super active, and I don't even need equipment at this place. One time we were just sitting there, me and there was actually 5 or 6 of us. This was like, we're getting ready to celebrate Christmas there, but we were there to discuss an event for the Christmas, and we were just sitting there at the table in the big hallway area, or the main area by the stage. Just sitting there was 5 of us sitting there writing some stuff down, and I kid you not, it's archways over the main area, and that portion is not upstairs. It's like crawl space, right? The upstairs portion is off to the right of the building, and you literally heard like someone just ran across the whole top of the building, just like and I was like, wait, what? Like, you just followed the footsteps that like ran across the building, and it was just the craziest thing. And I'm like, what was that? We like all stopped and looked at each other, and I'm just like, okay, I guess it's just spirits wanting to tell us that they're here. We didn't think anything else but that, because what else could it possibly be? And I like immediately like turned on, like I ran out to the truck and I grabbed a spirit box. Like, it's like, I leave equipment in my vehicle all the time. So I went and grabbed a SB7 and came back in, and I was like, was that you? Who's running across the ceiling? And we had a gentleman's name come through, and it said Mark. And I'm like, interesting. Well, thanks, Mark, for letting us know you're here, you know. But it's just like a warm, welcoming environment. And there is really cool history. So I just want people to see it because he's never done any type of tours there. It has just been open to for investigations for paranormal groups. And I've had so many people that reach out to me because they know that I'm always there. And they're like, when can I come see it? I want to experience this place. And so that's what we're getting ready to do, is going to be doing some tours.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Very excited. I can't wait.
We're going to get you guys to hold on right there because we are going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. Ghost of the Great White North with our main man, Merle, continues for another 30 minutes on Spaced Out Radio, along with our special guest, Michelle Cowan from SoCal Spirit Seekers. And when we return from the break, we're going to get to audience questions. There's a bunch of them out there.
Okay.
I know Merle loves the questions, and so will Michelle. We'll be right back.
Awesome.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
All right, guys, we are clear. Good job. Doing really
Awesome.
well.
Oh, thank you. No, this is fun. I love it. I can sit here and talk for hours. So
Yeah,
appreciate
we're going to be doing up a contract for our paranormal teams
Mhm.
as well. So for paranormal teams coming up to our museum,
Yeah.
we're going to have a fee for them to do it. I didn't want to, but there's too many teams in British Columbia that have been caught doing not good things.
Oh, I see.
So, and we don't want any of our spirits or buildings damaged because of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fee should scare off those people. And then, so it's actually, we're going to be charging, it'll be $300 for, I think, up to 8 hours of investigation.
That's an incredibly fair price.
And $550 for 2 days.
Wow. Amazing.
And then you plus it's $85 a caretaker. And if you have more than 10 people on your team, you have to have, or I think we're going to go with 8 people. You're going to have 2 caretakers.
Okay.
So that's just to make sure they're going to stand behind. You guys do your investigation. But it's going to be to make sure that everybody is compliant with not trying to cross over spirits, not trying to summon demons or
absolutely. Yeah, no, your pricing is fair. That is awesome. I'm sure you guys are going to get a lot of great people to come out there and investigate it. And I'll be one of them, hopefully.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think it would be great. But you know what? It's just to scare. The other thing too is this is at the request of the museum. Anybody who comes up, you have to have a liability insurance too.
Oh yeah, the liability thing is huge. Like we just finalized our waiver that we have to make people sign, and it's unfortunate. It's just people are so happy these days. Let's just be real, and we got to protect ourselves. We got to protect others, and so forth. So it's because I am starting all these tours and stuff. I've been looking into all this and researching and so forth. But you just gotta protect and do what's right for yourself and for your team and your surroundings, and also for the property too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So are you guys already booking, or is it launching soon? Or
we just have to get our dates approved. And our website is being built, so we'll probably be ready within the next month.
Oh, fun.
But the museum also allowed us to, we're going to start with 1 bedroom to make a haunted bed and breakfast.
Very cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. So And we're hoping that if we can get some real quality bookings out of that, then we're going to be hopefully opening up another 2 to 3 rooms. So that will be really cool if we can get that going. And then we're going to be setting up cots in the big barn. I don't even know if I would stay in the big barn.
I do.
I would totally do it. T-Bone, if you're wondering who is cooking, the bed and breakfast will be catered.
Who's cooking? That's funny.
Yeah, the bed and breakfast will be catered. But that's if you want the breakfast part of the bed and breakfast. So
Cool.
yeah, we're going to be offering a lot of really cool stuff coming up. It's a matter of just getting like I said, the website's about half done. It's haunted108.com. haunted108.com. And once it gets out there, it'll be good. We're going to start the media push probably next month.
Mhm.
And go from there.
That's
Hold on right
exciting.
there. We're coming back in 10 seconds. Thank you, Area 54. Thank you, T-Bone. And thank you, Jake, for the super chats. Greatly appreciate your love and support of SOR. And here we go, everybody. Here we go with the second half of Spaced Out Radio. My name is Dave Scott. We got Merle from the Paranormal Road Trippers and from SoCal Spirit Seekers, Michelle Cowan joining us. And we're going to get into some audience questions right now for you all as we like to continue on with Ghosts of the Great White North. Merle and Michelle, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
All right. First question of the night comes from T-Bone. He's one of our loyal listeners. Michelle, do you have aliens?
I have Scotty chilling next to me. Do you guys see Scotty? He's
Got
cute.
Scotty there. Now, have you ever had alien encounters?
Absolutely. I have definitely had some UFO experiences. That's a whole nother topic. My dad's a huge UFO guy, and I went to my first UFO conference when I was 10. I witnessed my first UFO like 8 or 9 years old. And yeah, I definitely am definitely connected. I'm a firm believer. I like go to Sedona, Arizona all the time. And they come through over there at this one house that I always stay at. And then secondly to that, the largest UFO conference in the world is Contact in the Desert, and I'm there every year.
Have you ever done Melinda Leslie's tour in Sedona for the UFO
No, I haven't.
watch? You should try that out.
Oh, like her actual tour out there, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll have to check her out.
Yeah.
This is like take you out in the desert in her Jeep or something like that, or
Yeah. I've got a lot of connections in Sedona if you want to have a fun time.
Oh, we'll have to have a little chatty chat on that one, Dave.
Absolutely. We could chatty chat about it. Let's go to another question here. And let's go to Odd here, who is asking, what advice do you have for the Ouija board users?
Is this directed to me or to
For you.
Oh, okay.
You're more
Just making
important.
sure. To be honest, I personally I don't use a Ouija board. It's not like any personal reasons that I don't. But for me, the biggest thing is about opening and closing the Ouija board. That's like one of the things that you got to make sure you do it correctly. That would be my biggest advice, because if you don't close the board out properly, that can lead to some other issues. So that's maybe one of the reasons why I don't, is because I don't know that, and like I have a lot of great paranormal equipment already. So, but I do love a Ouija. I do collect Ouija boards, like you. I have some, haunted Ouija boards, but I usually don't use them on my paranormal investigations. But just make sure you close it. Just close it out. That's my biggest advice.
All right, Merle, I know you're a big Ouija fan.
Big Ouija guy. We have about 16 in our collection, Dave. Advice on a Ouija board. I agree with Michelle. Close it. Respect the board.
Mm-hmm.
Don't expect much from it. If you do get interaction, that's awesome. Um, my controversial opinion is there's no difference between a spirit box. I love a good spirit box. I use one all the time, and there's no difference between a spirit box and a Ouija board. One is digital and one is analog, old fashioned. Um, it comes down to the respect, closing it off, and the intent. Yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
Which reminds me, Merle, I want to see you and I need to talk about some of your spirit boxes. I want to see about having one in the main house for Haunted
Okay.
108.
I can make you your
I want
very
you-
own Merle portal for a small fee.
Of course, of course.
What? I want one.
There's
Make
always
you
a
one
small
too.
fee attached to Merle. That's the one thing. Hey, Merle, do you want to come up and go ghost hunting? Yeah, for a small fee. I'll hang out with you, Dave, and just don't make eye contact. Right?
No eye contact. Don't touch me.
All right.
Mhm.
Let's go to another one here. Let's go back to T-Bone. Michelle, what is your opinion of the Estes method, and do you use it?
Absolutely love the Estes method. It's one of my favorite tools to utilize. And one of my favorite times utilizing it is from the poltergeist house. So I got to investigate the poltergeist house this past September in Simi Valley, California. It's where, they did film some scenes there for the poltergeist movie series. And what we did a little differently, we all know you usually singularly have one person with the headphones and scanning the radio and blindfolded. But we decided to up the ante and we did two people simultaneously blindfolded and with the headphones on. And we had one person asking the questions, which I was one of the people asking the questions downstairs. So we had one person sitting in the dining room, one person sitting upstairs, and me and a few other people were in the other side of the house asking a question for them to answer. And simultaneously, we got a lot of responses that were literally like in sync with each other. It's the first time we tried it this way, and it was phenomenal. The episode is on YouTube if anybody wants to check it out, but it was incredible. So I'm a firm believer in the essays method.
Me too.
Cool.
All right, ready for another one?
Let's go.
Or before we do that, Merle, when you did the Estes method with me at Flight 21 the first time around,
Mhm.
where I was seeing the aliens, I wasn't hearing anything, Michelle. I was seeing I had this big white orb of light that was making me squint underneath the blindfold.
Wow.
And as I'm describing this, I don't know if Merle saw it or not, but a couple other people saw an orb of light come down from the sky right over top of us and then turn into a ring and dissipate in the trees.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
And then it started with like alien grays, like just the head, almost like a ticker tape going straight across. And then came the reptilian eyes. It was trippy.
Oh
I
my gosh.
rarely get anything on a spirit box. Rarely get anything. Like it's just not my I guess I don't have the proper chi for it. But yeah.
Well, I guess
I had a
that time
really-
it definitely wanted to come through. So that's awesome.
I had a really startling experience the last time I did it. We just
What
filmed
happened?
a little documentary we did on a place called Cottonwood Roadhouse. It was an old
Oh yeah, I have
stopover.
that in my queue to play. So watch it.
Nice.
So yeah.
I was doing the Estes method, and I felt I could feel someone running and rushing towards me really fast, and I could even feel the vibrations of the boots coming towards me, and scared the bejesus out of me. And I love sensory deprivation because it heightens all of your senses, and
Absolutely.
because I'm pretty, I wouldn't say I'm dull to the paranormal, but I'm pretty accustomed. And not much will scare me or startle me. But I find the Estes method, feeling that vulnerability just heightens your senses, and I've gotten a lot of cool responses doing it.
Same. Feel the same vibe on that one for sure.
All right, let's move on to another question here. Let's go to Jules. Have you ever investigated, Michelle, the Wrigley Mansion in Pasadena?
No, I honestly haven't, but I would love to. That's definitely on the wish list to investigate. I know there's quite a bit of history over there, especially in Pasadena in itself. Pasadena, the whole town has a lot of history, and the famous, infamous bridge, like the suicide bridge over there. There's been a lot of, deaths that have occurred over in that general section. But yeah, the Wrigley is definitely something that is on the future wish list. So stay tuned. Maybe, just maybe, I might get in over there.
I love this question by T-Bone. What has been your most gratifying paranormal experience?
Oh, okay. I haven't even released the video on this. Actually, the most gratifying one was, I should post this. I've been meaning to. It's actually like this angelic spirit that came through. So Mission Inn, right in Riverside, downtown Riverside, California. It's a historic 100-year-old hotel, more than 100 years old. I love this place. I investigate it all the time. And you guys, we had a lot of fires back in, January 25 here in SoCal. And so we, luckily, I didn't lose my home or anything, but I do live on a hill, and it was so dry, and, they shut down all of our power and everything. So I decided, well, I'm just going to go stay at a hotel. And I just went and stayed at the Mission Inn. And of course, I'm going to bring my gear with me. And it was just like crazy because we were in Alice's room. It's a suite there. And she was the owner's sister, and she happened to live in an apartment there because she was like hostess with the mostess for the property for many years. Well, to me, this is gratifying because what I caught on camera literally looks like an angel floating in the midair and coming through with wings and everything. And it was when I needed the most because I was going through a lot in the moment. I just recently had found out some health issues with me and things, and I just needed something positive to happen. California was half burning on fire, and other people were losing homes, and bad things were happening at that time, not just for me, but for other people. And I caught this amazing thing on camera. I've never seen it to this day. I'll send it to you guys after we get off because it is a mind blowing, but it was so angelic, and it was just what I needed in the moment. And I'm like, this is why I do this. Like, absolutely 110% why I do this.
Love that answer. Love that answer. Let's get to new listener obsessed with horror asking, what's the number one place, Michelle, that you would love to do an investigation at?
Oh my gosh, that's a hard question to answer because there's so many incredible places, not only here in the United States, but in the world, Like, I would love to get over to the UK. The history over there is absolutely phenomenal. It's been on my wish list for so long. There's so many different, castles and things. And, you have buildings that are 1,000 years old, churches and so forth. So I wouldn't say something like a specific actual building, but more or less like just getting overseas and exploring out of the US, because I haven't yet. I have not been overseas. So that is like my one place is like get out of US and experience it otherwhere,
How about you, Merle?
I've done the UK. It's fantastic. I lived in a haunted building when I was there.
Wow.
I lived there for a year, and it was pretty cool.
Wow. Yeah, you're not telling me all about this one. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like the building I lived in, it was from 1700s. Is where I lived in southeast London, and I lived really close to Tower Bridge, which Tower Bridge is right beside the Tower of London, like where the kings and queens would do beheadings. There were prisons there, and my area where I lived is where all the knights would joust. So there used to be a path in front of where like on the street where the horses would go up and down and they would joust each other. And my building was where knights would go drink their drink. And fast forward, it was a brothel for a while during the Jack the Ripper era, because Southeast London, I was a 5-minute walk away from Whitechapel.
Wow.
So where Jack the Ripper did all of his stuff. And so it was a brothel, it was a pub, it was a brothel again, it was a boarding house. And one of the creepiest stories, I've told this on the show once many years ago, Dave. I don't tell the story often because it's weird. And I was coming home from work. I was a bartender, and then I never indulged on the days I worked. I was going home sober. And I in the UK, it's so old they don't have elevators in a lot of their buildings. So I had to walk up a ton of flights of stairs. And I get up to my floor, but I'd always go to the floor above mine because it had a cleaner washroom, like the upstairs, like just because I had roommates. And I go in there and I see a lady in probably like a early 1800s, mid 1800s mint green dress, and she had like fire red hair. And she turned around and looked at me and kind of flipped her skirt up a little bit, snickered, and then I kind of just bugged my eyes out, like, what is happening? And I'm like, why is there cosplay? And it was gone. She was gone.
Wow, like just like that?
Yep. And then the day after, so I sleep that off. I go downstairs and I talk to the bartender because
I don't know how you sleep that off. No, that's a wild.
yeah, because like
Okay.
the main floor was a pub, classic,
Mhm.
and then the rest were apartments on
Yeah,
top of
I
that.
see. Okay.
So I was friends with the bartender and I asked her, I'm like, what is up with this place? And she was like, you saw her. I'm like, saw who? And
Wow.
apparently some of like the ladies of the Jack Ripper era still wasn't a Jack Ripper victim, but like of the same working style, frequented where I lived. And I guess that's what I saw. So
Interesting. That's an incredible story. Like you literally like witnessed like a full body
yep.
apparition and color and detail, and yeah, like that to me is like one thing I have not experienced was like that much of a colored of an apparition, like super detailed like that. I've seen a little bit of foggy-ish or hueish colors or something, but never to like that degree of definition.
And like I thought I was seeing things, but like I know what I saw. And
Yeah.
I even thinking about it, talking to you guys, I could see her shoes still. I can see her dress. I can see
Wow.
her hair was in a messy bun. It was like I said, red. And yeah.
That's an amazing story. Amazing. Wow.
All right, let's go over to Tim Mothman here. Question for you, Michelle. What are your thoughts and or any experiences at the Whaley House?
Yeah, so that was the museum I said that wanted to charge $3,000.
Damn.
Yeah, so I have no comments other than I can't afford to investigate there. I mean, I would have loved to, don't get me wrong, it's a piece of history. And I was just trying to do a private investigation, and that's literally what they wanted. It was, 2785 plus the CA sales tax made it 3K. So unfortunately, we didn't make it happen. So, if they want to come down on their pricing and renegotiate, then let's talk. But they never did. And that's the unfortunate side. That's the ugly side that I'm seeing in the community right now. But,
Yeah.
it is what it is. I mean, I think the house has definitely got activity. I think it's got the great history that it has, and it's goes down as one of the best haunted locations in San Diego. And yeah, I would love to get access to it one day. Like, I mean, no disrespect with them. Obviously, they have a guideline of pricing that they want to stick by, but we can also, there should be some room for compromise here. Like, I'm not commercially filming anything. I can't afford that. Like I don't mind paying for people's time and so forth, and letting me to utilize their property, but there's got to be a level of like decency when it comes to it.
It's funny. I'm looking at their website right now. I charge $30 for a 2.5 hour ghost tour. that goes into 5 buildings
Okay.
on our property, and they are charging $94.05 per person.
Yeah. Is it for just the hour tour or?
It doesn't even say how long the tour is.
Yeah, it's probably the hour tour.
That is brutally expensive. No offense to the Whaley House. Okay, because I've never been there, never seen it. Right?
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know too, it is a small place. Like, I mean, you're just looking at you're probably what was it, maybe a couple thousand or few thousand square foot or something type of building home. But yeah, so it's not like like you have half acre with 10 buildings on it, So yeah, it's just the pricing was a little absurd. I think it kind of just went to the head of whoever's in charge over there because it's just not really fair, I would say, like just being real. That's what I don't like is when people just take advantage of that type of situation. I mean, the home is beautiful, but for an hour to pay that is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That is really, really harsh. Really harsh.
I mean, I get we're in SoCal. It is expensive
like,
here, but geez Louise.
I'm like $30 and I'm like, are people gonna pay that? And it's and if you don't book a reservation, it's 35.
Yeah, no, you're totally like you're way low, probably. I mean, I'm in SoCal, so everything is so expensive here. So, I mean, I'm doing the ghost tours at Tudor, and it's gonna be not night. Well, we're gonna start probably around the 65 to 70 range, but we're gonna include some drinks and food and all this stuff, and you've got 2 huge buildings to go through. So yeah, I mean, that's just it's wild. Yeah.
It really is. It really is. We only got about 3.5 minutes left with you guys tonight, and I have absolutely thoroughly enjoyed this show. So I'm very thankful for both of you to be here. We got to get you up to Canada, my friend. We got to get you up here.
Oh, I would love to. I need a trip up there, I love Canada. It's been many years since I've been up there. Like I said, I used to live in Portland and, I took a couple trips up there and I even took a cool cruise that came back up and came down to Victoria. And yeah, so I mean, it's a beautiful country. Vancouver is a beautiful city. And yeah, I would love to. I'd love to go check out the museum, the property, all of it. I'm like, sign me up.
You know what you will enjoy about investigating up here? And I'll say it very quietly so other paranormal teams don't hear
it. What's that?
And that is there are so many untapped locations. Like we're talking like ghost towns that have never been investigated. Where Merle and I investigated at our special place. There's never been anybody on record that has ever investigated there outside of us.
That's incredible.
There are so many, and the further deeper you go into BC, the more you find these incredible locations that are just, you're like, wow, how did that even happen? How did we get there? How has this been untapped? So
yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to come up and, do an investigation with you guys and we can even, I'll come for a while and we can try to tap into some other spots that haven't quite been, introduced and investigated before. I would definitely be honored to do that.
Yeah, the Caribou Gold Rush Trail is phenomenal. It really is phenomenal.
Yeah, I felt extreme energy. Wow.
Yeah. It's crazy the amount of ghost activity and spirits along the Gold Rush Trail, and you never know what you're going to get. It is a storytelling adventure, that is for sure. Do me a favor, Michelle. Let everybody know where they can find your work.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so I'm only on like Instagram for SoCal Spirit Seekers. So it's just SoCal Spirit Seekers, all one word on Instagram. And the same with YouTube, SoCal Spirit Seekers on YouTube. So that's where you can find me.
And Merle, where can people find the Paranormal Road Trippers?
You can find Merle and the Paranormal Road Trippers on Instagram at the Paranormal Road Trippers. YouTube at the Paranormal Road Trippers, Facebook at the Paranormal Road Trippers, and Dave, theparanormalroadtrippers.com.
That is awesome. And of course, for paranormal reasons, because we are now hosting Haunted 108. Go to haunted108.com. We're also on Instagram, TikTok, and X for right now. YouTube is coming. YouTube is coming once we get a few more videos to go up. Coming up next on Spaced Out Radio, we got hour 3, where we're going to get into a nice story from Swamp Dweller. Then the perfectly coiffed mustache of Terry Hall is going to be here for the weird news of the week. And we're going to fire you up with some laughter and some head scratchers on that one as well. This is Spaced Out Radio, hour 3 next.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
All right, guys, great show tonight. Great show.
One.
Thank you so
Thank
much. Well,
you.
you're a beauty.
Thank
Thanks,
you. I
Michelle.
really appreciate you guys. I feel so honored to be on, and that was so much fun. That just like flew by the way. Literally, oh my gosh, the 2 hours was like, I'm like, it's done. Like, you guys don't want to talk till 6 in the morning? No, I'm just kidding.
We'll have you back
But
on.
yeah, well, thank you guys. I know you have, I think, another guest coming on, so I
do.
appreciate you.
I gotta run. You guys can talk all night, but I gotta run.
Gotcha.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. You guys have a good night, and I'm sure we'll be linking up soon.
Absolutely. And Merle, how do you like the Nathan Merle Kinnan?
That's beautiful, Dave. Beautiful.
I was gonna go Connor Merle David.
No.
All right. Bye, guys.
See you
Yeah.
later. All right, Merle. You have a good one, okay, buddy?
You too.
Bye. Good man, that Merle. I will be right back. Stay tuned, everybody. All right, let's bring in the mustachioed one, Terry Hall. There he is. Your mic's on mute, buddy. Do you not have your headset today?
Well, I'm testing out some new audio here. Can you hear me?
Oh, you sound great.
All right.
Excuse me.
Yeah. No gear, man. I got my braces off, Dad. I got my braces off, man.
Hey, Terry, after the show, I want you to stick around for a couple minutes, if you don't mind.
I think I can do that. I think that can be arranged.
Beautiful. We got about 1
How you
minute
doing?
left here.
How's the beard of knowledge this evening?
Beard's good, man. Beard's good.
Dude. Yoink. 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 Yoink.
Nice shirt. Nice shirt.
Oh, you ought to see the back.
Yeah, show us.
Oh, I will. I will. Just not yet.
Well,
I'm not
now
ready to
should be the
post.
time because our commercial time is almost up. And our radio audience won't be able to see it. That is nice. That is really nice.
Dave does not have bad swag, guys. Look, check this out. This, as you can tell at one point in time.
Yeah, that was a spaced out radio mug. All right, we got 5 seconds here, buddy.
All right. Good to go.
All right, I got you muted. We are into the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We appreciate you tuning us on in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. We have Swamp Dweller and Terry Hall with the weird news of the week coming up here in just a little bit of time. But first, we want to say hello to all of you listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. What do you got for us tonight, Clam? It is Quag Swag. Quag Swag is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's head to the swamp.
Hello and welcome to Spaced Out Radio's Swamp. I'm Swamp Dweller, and tonight I'm going to take you on a mystic journey of the unknown, sharing tales of monsters, legends, and nightmares. Welcome to the Spaced Out Radio Swamp. Hello, Swamp Dweller. The following event happened when I was 14 years old. I am now 48. I have never told anyone what happened that day so long ago, but I struggle every day to forget this. I was born and raised in Puerto Rico, in a town very close to El Yunque rainforest. My friends and I always used to go fishing and explore parts of El Yunque. On this day, me and my friend Jose went swimming and fishing for some time since the school was out. We took our usual route on our bikes. We hid them and continued on foot up the mountain to the creek where we swam all the time. We had a blast with some tourists that found the stream. The tourists eventually left and we stayed behind. We started to do some fishing close by when we realized it was getting dark very quickly. We did not bring flashlights with us because we had forgotten, and around that time there were no cell phone. We struggled to find our way back. We were falling and sliding all around. We came to a stop when we heard trees and branches snapping ahead of us. We thought it could be wild pigs or dogs. So we climbed one of the trees and stayed silent to see what it was. A few minutes passed and Jose got down from the tree. He was trying to join me where I was. I can see him in the darkness due to the moonlight shining when he just disappeared. It was like he was swept off his feet by something. I kept quiet. Maybe I was afraid, but I stayed silent. I didn't even attempt to try to find him. I looked from the tree I was in until I heard him call my name. For some reason, something inside of me told me not to answer. I then saw him run past my tree, and 5 seconds later I listened to a commotion nearby. and he started screaming for help. I was petrified. I didn't know what to do. I was a child watching my best friend getting hurt. I blamed myself for not trying to help. I was just stuck in a trance of fear. I can hear him being dragged away by something in the darkness. I stayed on the tree for hours until the next day's light. I ran down the mountain without looking back. I grabbed my bike and went straight home. My parents were not home because they had gone to work. They did not know I was even missing the night before. Jose's parents alerted the police, and I said that he was not with me the night back. I was afraid they would blame me for what happened to him. They searched for days, and on the fourth day they found him, or what was left of him. His belly was torn open. His eyes and tongue were missing, and police said there was nothing indicating animal predation. So what happened to him? I think about this all the time. Maybe if I had helped him, he'd still be here. Why was I such a coward?
All right. Thank you, Swamp Dweller, for another weird story. Well, if you want more just like that, head on over to YouTube, type in Swamp Dweller, hit subscribe, ring that bell. Thousands of stories for you to listen to each and every night, so make sure you check it on out. Now it's time for the weird news of the week. Let's bring in the beautifully mustached Terry Hall.
Terry Hall's got a mustache, standing proud and bold, curled up like a question mark, got secrets to be told. For new folks and Bigfoot tracks, ghosts that won't behave. He's roaming through the headlines like a cosmic wave. Weird news of the week, yes, strange and it's wild. From the edges of reality to the unexplained fall. With Terry Hall reports, the stag and the small. On Space Out Radio, let the Terry Star touch it all.
Terry Hall, how you doing, my friend? It is good to have you back here on Spaced Out Radio.
I'm doing great this evening, Dave. How are you doing? How's your week been?
I am doing good, man. I am doing good. And, I feel energized right now. I really do feel energized. And, the fact is, when you have good shows like we have each and every night, it kind of gets you a little bit jumped up and pepped up for a good night's work. That's for sure.
I've been throughout the entire week. You just seem to have found the good old energy button. It's quite refreshing. You told me before we started this evening that you were going to start this off with something that was going to anger me, and you have got my curiosity piqued. So
I am going to anger you. Okay. And I think a lot of people will probably get angry over this and, scratch their head over this. Okay. So this comes from X. Now, up here in Canada, and we want to give a shout out to our radio station, Saga 960, which we broadcast each and every night on there. Ontario Premier Doug Ford. So for Americans who don't know, and our American audience, a premier is like a governor. Okay. So he puts out this tweet. Okay. He puts out this tweet on X. It says, and I love this, okay, because it's Canadiana at its best. It says, after the incredible performances we have seen from our men's and women's hockey teams in Milan at the Olympics, all of Canada is cheering them on as they go for gold. To help everyone get into the spirit of the games, I've directed the Minister of Education to make sure all Ontario students are able to watch the remaining Team Canada hockey games that take place during school hours, starting with tomorrow's game. Now, he said this obviously the day before. Let's all come together and cheer on Team Canada as they bring home Olympic gold. Okay, now to me, that's a very positive message. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Okay, now let's get to some of the comments. What about those who don't want to watch the game and would rather stay in class? There are students who do like to learn. Direct the Minister of Education to spend more funds on education, same as the Minister of Health on healthcare. I would rather have school trustees back funding for post-secondary schools and colleges. Sounds like somebody was listening to my listener DMs episode. Teachers have to ask parents to donate art supplies, tissues, paper towels, etc., Why don't you direct the Minister of Education to supply classrooms with what they desperately need? Okay. And then a lot more insults towards the premier for doing this. Now, I don't care if you like Doug Ford. I don't care if you don't like him. Personally, I can tell you, not a fan of the guy. But what I will say is this: Canada has a real identity problem. And the one thing that has always brought us together for obvious reasons is hockey. And the
Mhm.
fact that there are these moronic Canadians who take the time and don't see the good in bringing these students together under one flag. Okay? Like I'm just gonna rant a little bit here on this, Terry, and then I want your opinion.
You feel free. I think that you've earned it in this, for this one especially.
One of the things that I love and respect about the United States, and I don't care if you're Republican, Libertarian, or Democrat, okay? You're proud to be an American, okay? You're proud of your history, even the ugly parts that the cancel culture tried to get a few years ago, okay? You're proud of who you are. Canadians coming out of the Winter Olympics in Vancouver in 2010 had this real spirit of what it meant to be Canadian coming out of that. And over time, we have lost that. Okay. And for the Premier of Ontario to come out and say, I think this is important for our students to feel good about this country, to feel good about the accomplishments, to give those children hope that if you try hard enough, you can be successful in anything that you do. You can feel that pride of what it's like to be Canadian, or in your case, American. And to have people who are so unilaterally blind to rip the premier over something like this, it is absolutely idiotic and moronic. Okay. Every school system is struggling right now. We know that. We know that teachers are overworked and underpaid. We know that there is all of this political crap and jargon that is going into schools these days. Okay. But allow kids to be kids. Okay. Allow them to be proud of that flag. Allow them to be proud to be Canadian, to watch their heroes. Okay. Women's hockey is taking off. And if you haven't had a chance to watch women's hockey, I will tell you this: the Professional Women's Hockey League is 100 times better than the WNBA. And that's why you're seeing massive crowds at the Women's Pro Hockey League, and you're seeing crowds struggle at the WNBA because people care. Okay. And there is nothing wrong with cheering on your country. There's nothing wrong with cheering on and waving that flag in pride, because the Olympics, whether and I think the Olympics are a waste of money. I do. But the one thing that the Olympics do is they bring countries together for a little bit of time, for a couple weeks out of the year, that we are allowed to be proud to be who we are. Whether you're Canadian, American, Lithuanian, British, Australian, Brazilian. How exciting is this? A Brazilian won a gold medal in skiing for the first time in history just earlier this week. I was cheering that guy on, like, come on, let's do this. Good for you, right? Why can't we just stop? Why can't we just stop for a little bit and just enjoy our athletes, people who have worked to the pinnacle of their sport to become an Olympic athlete, and cheer them on, rather than people being idiots just because a politician they don't like is saying what they said. Okay? That's my rant for it. I think it's BS. I think it's garbage, and it fired me up.
I'm in total agreement with you. But going back to something that you said at the start of your rant, this has become okay. First off, I've got to make this very, very clear. This is my opinion. It's what I feel about the current situation. Okay, so I'm just stating my own opinion, right? This has all become very opinionated, at least down here in the United States. So you started this off, Dave, with saying that down here in the United States, we're proud to be an American, right? I just had a discussion just this very day today. The thing that's lacking with our youngsters today is they don't have anything to be proud of or anything, there's no message for them left anymore. That you can't be proud to be an American right now in the political environment down here. It can be taken wrong. I could post right now, I'm proud to be an American on Facebook and be torn to pieces. That's their nationalism, let's say, right? Okay. They've taken things out of the school that were a standard, like pledging allegiance to the flag. They've taken God out of the schools. There's no message for these kids anymore. None. They can't be proud. There's no message. There's nothing to follow. They're just the blind leading the blind. You should be able to, and when I was in school, even when my son was in school, they did things just like this to be able to stick your chest out a little bit and be proud of your flag. But Dave, it's not just a Canadian thing anymore. It's an all over thing. And it's the sad truth of where we're at anymore. And once again, I want to make it very clear that that's my own personal opinion. Okay. But it's just seems to be that that's just the way of the world anymore, Dave, unfortunately.
It really is. Well put. Well put. Let's just put it to the side. Let's enjoy the rest of the Olympics. And when I say I don't like the Olympics, I don't like the politics of it all and how much it costs. The games are great. The athletes are great. Okay. It's the only time many of us ever see sports like ski jumping or snowboarding or even curling for that matter on television. And
it's also a time, Dave, that you can also, I remember very clearly the 1976 Olympics where we were all cheering on this little tiny Russian girl. Her name was Nadia Comaneci, and she was a phenomenal athlete from Russia. Here we are during the middle of the Cold War, and everybody in America is cheering for this young lady from Russia. So not only can you be proud during the Olympics, but it can also be a bonding experience for even countries in a Cold War.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Let's get to some fun news, at least, Terry. What do you got?
Well, actually, to start off with, we're talking about government. So let's just go to a story that when your government's gone too far. Lane County, Florida. We'll start off with the Florida man one. Florida. County to pay $250,000 to advertise for lack of funds. As the headline reads, Lane County will spend up to $250,000 this year publicly and to paint its tight financial picture in order to promote a tax hike to the citizens of Lane County. The reporter, in digging through their advertisement for lack of funds, found that they have spent $3.5 million in the last 3 years advertising that they don't have any money.
Oh my. Oh my.
How's that for maybe needing to rethink who you're putting on the boards or committees? Now, I've got a really good one for committees for you too, Dave. After you made your comment, go right ahead.
I want to comment on that because I can understand that kind of stupidity. I live in British Columbia. where we have a ferry system here that ferries people between Vancouver and Vancouver Island or up north into the other islands. And they spend millions of dollars advertising every year while they keep hiking up rates. Millions of dollars. You have no competition. Why are you spending money on advertising when people have to use you to get to the island? And you're a crown corporation. Okay. Same thing with our insurance works a little bit weird here for automobiles. We all have to go through a company called ICBC, which is the Insurance Corporation of British Columbia. Okay. Now you can get your you can get your private insurance for your vehicle, but your main registration of the vehicle has to be done through ICBC. Okay. Yet ICBC spends millions of dollars every year advertising about their rates, their standards, and all of this kind of garbage when they could use that to lower rates. Now, obviously, a few million is only going to lower the rates by maybe $1 or $2 each, but still, that's $1 or $2 out of my pocket. You know what I'm saying?
Well, down here we have the Department of Motor Vehicle, Dave, and that department is there. I mean, all they're there for. There's when you walk in, there's like 20 different windows with agents at everyone, and they're all very skilled in telling you this. Your paperwork's incorrect. You're going to have to do this, this, and this, and come back at another time.
Right. Oh man, just the way the government scam us, man, out of our tax dollars. I could do a whole 19-hour show on that and still not even get to the tip of the iceberg. But yes, you got another one for us. We got about 2.5 minutes.
This one is just another government kind of thing. We've actually got a couple of them. So this one, okay. Ready?
I'm ready.
Committee appoints committee to appoint committee. The Newton School Committee is going to appoint a superintendent to the committee that appoints committees. Several school committee members said getting word out about the committee would be the best way to attract people to the committee. Jeff Altmaier, committee member, stated, "There's a lot of people out there that aren't part of any committee or other identifiable group." Sponsored by the Cape Cod Word Company. This was in Maryland, Dave. And then you also have in Northfield, Maryland, Northfield plans a strategic plan to plan a strategic plan. Our government is crazy broken, Dave. It's that way everywhere. Everywhere. The police departments are even filing reports stating as such, woman missing since she got lost.
Oh my.
What is the world come to, Dave? When a dog saves an owner's life after the cat starts to fire.
What is this story? Oh, you got to fill us in on this one.
Okay, Greenville, Maine. Thumper, a black lab, is getting credit for saving the Greenville man's life when a fire swept through his home. A fire started Sunday and Roland Coates converted two-story garage. Thumper, the black lab, grabbed him by the arm to wake him up. Coates said the fire investigator believes the blaze was started when Princess, the family cat, tipped over a kerosene lantern. Coates said he and his pets escaped safely, but he said Princess did get her tail singed by the flames.
Oh, man.
I think the cat had it out for the dog, man.
No kidding.
I really do.
No kidding. Terry, I'm going to get you to hold on right there because we are going to come back at the bottom of the hour with more weird news of the week. We love bringing this segment to you. It allows us to just kind of relax and tell you about the weird things going on around the world today. And when we return, how about a guy trying to ditch his $150 restaurant bill? You'll never believe how he's trying to do this. This one will make you squirm and go, ew, really? Somebody actually did that? Yeah, apparently so. We're loving tonight's show. I hope you are too. This is Spaced Out Radio. This is Spaced Out Radio. And your host, Dave Scott. All right, buddy, we're clear.
Cool beans, man. Dave, the world's just lost its mind. It's just, we're doomed, man. We're all doomed.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of dumb in the world right now. A lot of dumb in the world.
There was a show on when I was a kid, and it was one of those Marty Croft shows with the big puppets.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the little characters used to run around all the time saying, "We're doomed, we're all doomed." He must have been like a fartier or something.
And?
Oh, I've got a good story about like real opposites attracting. For real, for real. I mean, dude, people have gotten so silly anymore that there's even stories out there about a guy who got arrested, felony arrest, thinking that he could only be charged with burglary at night.
Save that one, buddy. I got to hear that one. Holy cow. Oh, my goodness.
I mean, what does the world come to?
Oh, my goodness.
Here's one for the legal system. Have you ever heard an attorney that accidentally sued themselves?
No.
Yeah, got those out there too. Those are out there too.
Oh, my goodness.
And then, of course, there's always the story of Greenland, that the meteorite that they just recently found may be from space.
That they found what?
A meteorite in Greenland, and the story, the headline reads, "Greenland meteorite may be from space."
Oh, man.
I thought that's where meteorites came from, but maybe I'm wrong. And then there's always a story about the couple who came home and the husband was telling a wife a joke and they were to laugh upstairs and it turned out it was a burglar.
We got 2.5 minutes, buddy.
Dave, did you know that China may be using the sea to hide submarines?
Maybe using what?
They may be using the sea to hide submarines.
Tea?
The sea. To hide submarines.
Weird.
That was a story in the AP News this week. That was the headline. China may be using the sea to hide its submarines.
That is so weird.
Of course, then there's this one. This one cracked me up. Senior center holds old bag sale. It's a bunch of purses.
Oh, my.
But the senior center was holding no bag sale. Also, Dave, did you know that starvation can lead to health hazards?
I would never have known.
Dude, you having me do this, it gives me the opportunity to just scour through all kinds of stuff. And some of the stories and headlines that you can find if you're actually looking for this kind of silly stuff just are crazy.
Oh, it's funny. It's funny.
All right. I'm going to go grab a drink, Dave. I'll be right back.
All right. We got about a minute to go here, buddy. You can't make some of this up. Might have been Jules. Might have been Terrence McKenna. Big thank you tonight to Jake T-Bone and Area 54 for our super chats tonight. We very much thank you for your love and support. Head on over to cariboucon.com. Check out tickets for this year's event, September 18th through 20th. And you can also join our new website, haunted108.com. haunted108.com to learn more about our new tours that we're going to be doing up here in the Caribou. Here we go. We're into the final half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. We're going to continue with the weird news of the week with Terry Hall right now. And Terry, I got one for you coming from a hospitality situation here. I want to get your thoughts on this.
All right, here we go.
So, restaurants in Sydney are being warned after a diner allegedly plants hair to dodge a $600 bill. Yeah, you heard that right. $600 bill. So the group this guy was in had ordered high-value dishes, including a 1.8 kilogram tomahawk steak, along with entrees and drinks. Now, hospitality venues have been warned to remain vigilant after a family was allegedly spotted deliberately planting hair on their own plate before refusing to pay a $600 bill. The alleged incident happened at Pony in the Rocks in Sydney, Australia, where staff say a family visiting from Ireland opened and ordered some of the venue's most expensive items. So CCTV reviewed the footage by the restaurant to show a man reaching into his armpit, pulling out armpit hair and placing it on his plate after he finished the meal. Neil Nolan, who has led the kitchen at the venue for 2 decades, said the alleged tactic was unlike anything he had ever seen. I've never seen anything like this before, Neil says. Like it was on another level of trying to scam. According to the restaurant, the group ordered high-value dishes, including a lot of expensive steaks, along with entrees. Now, staff claim the issue was raised only once the family had finished eating. Nolan said the man became increasingly agitated, raising his voice and refusing to settle any portion of the account. He went nuts, basically, getting louder and louder and refused to pay for any of the bill. The situation escalated in the dining room, with the man's wife now allegedly breaking down into tears as other customers looked on. Staff quickly questioned the origin of the hair, and it was described as blonde, while the kitchen staff did not match that description. You can see my hair is not blonde, and you don't see any blonde hair in the kitchen earlier, the Nolan chef says. Concerned about the disturbance to other patients, management chose to waive the entire bill order in order to bring the confrontation to an end. It was only afterwards, the restaurant claims, that they learned similar allegations involved what is between or believed to be the same family at another nearby venue. Nolan said he reported the matter to police, but was advised that there was little that they could do to make this change happen. Frustrated, he later shared the CCTV footage publicly on social media to alert other operators to try and locate the family in question. The contact details provided with the booking were allegedly false, and the family is believed to have since left the area. That's a new one. Armpit hair to get out of paying a giant bill, Terry.
And you did say that prior to them doing it at this restaurant, they had done it at a previous establishment, correct?
Yes. Apparently
Well,
they found out after.
You would think that about halfway through the meal, you would call the maitre d' over and ask to meet the person who had cooked the meal, to make sure that there was someone in your party who had hair that matched said person. That is disgusting, dude. And of course, they wait till they've absolutely finished everything. Look, man, in Utah, at least when I was there weren't very many establishments that you could spend $600 in an evening for, let's say, a family of four. There was one, Hotel Park City. It just so happened that I built said hotel. I knew the staff, I knew the owners, I knew the maitre d', I knew the concierge, I knew the chef to their very exclusive restaurant. When I was treated to a meal at that place, there was no way on earth Rodrigo, the head chef, would ever let a plate go out that was not immaculate. So that guy, I mean, where in the heck do you get a 3-pound tomahawk steak at, dude?
I don't know, but
I'm not like, we don't do the metric system down here, Dave. So 1.6 kilos, that's what, like 3 pounds of meat?
About 3 pounds of meat, yeah.
Phenomenal. Like, that is just people, dude. How can why? I mean, I tell you, David, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to crack on this one just a little bit.
Sure.
With everything that I read through, all of these silly, crazy stories every day, and then the Epstein files, with the amount of just staggering evil that is on this planet. With it, in 1980, when we were cruising around on our skateboards down in Huntington Beach, dude, life was good. I went to the grocery store today, Dave. I came home with a single bag. I put $100 bill in one bag. Where have we gotten to, Dave?
Oh, that's a whole different night of conversation, my friend. But I agree with you. You want to you want to try food prices? Here's Canada smarts for you. Instead of feeding our own people, we will ship our meat products like our beef and our chicken and our hogs, okay, pig meat, bacon, everything around the world. Okay. And then we import it from, we will import food products and meat products from other countries at a higher price to go in the grocery stores. Where does that make sense?
Dave, America's the breadbasket for planet Earth, right? My wife, for Valentine's Day, she loves Greek food. Mm-hmm. So I made some Greek food here at the house, right? And the pita breads, just the pita breads for her sandwich that she likes, for 5 of them, was $5.45 for 5 pita breads. Right?
I got 3 bags of groceries, paper bags of groceries, because I refuse to pay for the recycling bags. Okay, the ones that you use over and over. I refuse to
they banned all the plastic bags in the stores down here. All of them. You can't get a plastic bag in the store down here.
Up here neither. But I can tell you this, okay, before we move on. I can tell you this. The dinner that I made for Mrs. SOR, which included one of those cold shrimp rings, some asparagus, a couple of spices, some chicken breasts, 3 chicken breasts, some pasta sauce, because I made her a nice Alfredo chicken pasta for Valentine's Day. My bill, 3 bags of groceries, and 2 bouquets of flowers, one from my boy and one from me, $283.
Snap, man.
That meal that meal that I made, and they say eating at home is cheaper. Okay. Yes, I got 3 days worth of meal out of that pasta. Okay. But $283 for 3 nights worth of meals. That's Canada for you.
Yeah, it feels about the same down here,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought back in the day, if I made over $100,000 a year, I'd be living in gravy, right?
Yeah.
Nope.
No, you
No.
just don't do it anymore. Let's get back to
Nope.
the weird news of the week. I got one
All right.
here for you, Terry.
You start off. I got one to follow.
All right. So apparently there is an intrepid team of scientists, and this is on Scientific America. You can find this story. An intrepid team of scientists have created smart underwear. You want to know why, Terry? They want to measure human flatulence in a bid to better understand our farts.
Ooh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Whether you're breaking wind, this is where your scientific dollars are going, people. You wonder why we are wasting money in all places? Because we are doing scientific study on farts. Yeah. When you break wind, farting hard, or just letting a quick toot out, flatulence is as much a daily necessity as breathing. But exactly how often the person farts will say a lot about their body, is something about a mystery. Yeah. We don't actually know what normal flatus production looks like, said Brantley Hall, an assistant professor at the University of Maryland, in a statement. Okay. Without the baseline, and by the way, that is the scientific term for flatulence, flatus production. Yeah. That's the UAP of flatulence, flatus production. Without baseline, it's hard to know when someone's gas production is truly excessive. So they're making these smart underwear, a wearable device co-created by Hall and his colleagues that could help provide an answer to the pungent question. The wearables isn't really truly underwear, but rather a device that snaps onto the garments and uses chemical sensors to track intestinal gas, especially hydrogen, which is produced by microorganisms in the gut. Typically, when you rip one, it is a mix of micro-derived hydrogen and occasionally methane, as well as carbon dioxide and oxygen produced by the body. In the study of the device, Hall and his team found that healthy adults fart something like 32 times a day, although some tooted a mere 4 times, while others broke wind 59 times a day. The study did not measure whether the farts were smelly or audible, however. Literally.
No, dude, that's heading us toward like Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. You remember what they did with the pigs in Beyond Thunderdome?
Yep.
All right. Actually, what those underwear need to also measure is Quag saying when you rip one. Ooh.
How about instead of spending grant money and university money on studying how much someone rips ass, okay, how about we take that money and lower tuition? How about we take that money from all of the stupid studies? You know what we're going to do, Terry? Let's do this, because this just gave me an idea. About 9 years ago, I did a study. I found this article that showed all of these extremely silly university studies and the amounts that were put into them. And at one point, there was a university in, I think it was Montana or Idaho, somewhere, one of those places, that took a $300,000 grant to see how a mountain lion would exercise on a treadmill.
300K? That's
300K.
light work, dude.
Yeah, because we need to know that. We need to know, you know what? Let's get back, and I'm going to be grotesque here for a second, but can we not just get back to farts being funny? or you rip one by grandma or mom and they give you that dirty look. That's good stuff. That's good humor. Let's just get back to that instead of worrying about this.
I remember a day, Dave, when my mom and dad used to have guests over for supper, and polite conversation included things like politics, religion, the ability to agree to disagree and have polite conversation between other people. But I'll tell you something that absolutely staggered me today. They happened to me today. I was having a discussion with someone about something. We were disagreeing on the subject. I pulled up an article that absolutely proved the point I was trying to make. It was an article, absolute proof. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. The person looked directly at me and said, "My opinion proves you wrong." My opinion proves you wrong. Now, keep in mind, this person's considerably younger than myself. But with facts staring someone in their face, my opinion proves you wrong.
I hear
That's
you.
what we've come to. But I tell you what, I know of a university who is actually taking their funds and putting them to good use. And it actually has military applications as well. Down in Australia, the Australian Army has lost a vehicle worth $74,000, reported to have gone missing after being painted with new camouflage.
Oh, no.
The university in Australia out of Melbourne was trying different patterns of camouflage. This one appeared to be so good that they're still unable to locate the vehicle.
That's impressive, actually.
So they took this 4-wheel drive, camoed it up, parked it out in the middle of wherever they parked it out of, walked away from it, and now they can't find it again. The camouflage is that good.
And they didn't even mark where they put the vehicle?
They didn't mark where they put the vehicle.
Oh, my.
Police are seeking the public's help to find the 4-wheel drive vehicle. Now that's some good application for your educational dollars right there, man.
Right.
Camouflage that even the people who made the camouflage can't find the camouflage.
All right.
And then you also have, go right ahead, Dave.
My final story tonight is, we were talking about the Olympics a little bit earlier. Well, let's go back to Milan Cortina, where condoms are as popular as ever. Why? Well, because people get a little frisky between athletes in the Olympic Village. The number of condoms shipped to the Olympic Village, 10,000. Yep. 10,000. And guess what? There is now a shortage. 10,000 condoms have been used and handed out, so much so that it's actually causing black market condoms to be sold for up to $100 a pack.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not lying. Apparently, there are a lot of horny athletes that want to get their freak on while they're competing. Okay. And because they're running out of condoms, they are now saying that there is a black market shipments going on to the Olympic Village, and people, this stuff's selling harder than narcotics right now, my man.
What is a black market condom, dude? Is it like recycled or something?
It reminds me of the days. It reminds me of the days during the pandemic where people were trying to scam people with hand sanitizer. Remember that guy? He got banned from Amazon because he was taking those little hand bottles of sanitizer.
Yeah, I sure do.
and he was selling them for like $75 a piece, and he was selling out.
Yeah, I do. I still remember the other guy who still has an entire garage full of that stuff because after they caught the one guy, they banned people from doing that down here.
Absolutely. So basically, here's the story here. Here's the story. If you want to have a get-rich-quick scheme, take boxes of condoms to the next Olympic Village. I think in 2028, they're in Los Angeles, the Summer Games, back in Los Angeles. Take all those condoms and just get yourself a trench coat, okay? And when athletes walk by, just open up your trench coat. Do you want Trojan? Do you want Lifestyles? Do you want Rams? And you can your choice. Lubed, non-lubed, Mel WD 40'd. Okay, just that's the way it is. That's what you got to do. You'll make tens of thousands of dollars. What a way to do it.
This is making my brain hurt. When you said that, I had to Google black market condoms. I had never heard the term before. And I cannot believe how many stories, and it's all Olympics. All Olympic stories. Milan restocks Olympic condoms as black market prices soar.
Right?
That's cracking me up.
Stuff up, man. You can't even make
this.
Yeah,
I guess when you're at the top of your game, you're at the top of your game all the way around, right?
That's right. That's right.
One way to go for the gold.
You got that right. Terry, we got to start wrapping things up as we only got about 30 seconds, my man. I always have a lot of fun doing this segment with you. It just allows us to just have a good laugh and see the silliness that goes on around our world each and every week, my man.
Here, I got one to drop on you and we'll call it quits for the night. Did you know that statistics show that teen pregnancy significantly drops off after age 25?
I will use that mathematics proudly. Thank you, Terry Hall. As we say goodnight to Terry and hello to Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Rocket in the background with Little Brother is watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio. Rocket us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAP, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, the Space Travelers Club, and on X at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and Bigfoot Broadcasting Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends, we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo Train has docked for the night, but soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night, everybody. Good show, Terry.
Oh, it's always fun just kind of lighten stuff up, boss.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree with you.
The world can be a drag, man. The world can be a drag. So it's always fun to come home to SOR and hang out with everybody for a while.
Absolutely.
Hey, did you know that Sacramento's it's planning its first dog combination archery part? Can you imagine how well that's going to work out? And speaking of Canadian politics, did you know that your ex-minister broke silence and said absolutely nothing?
What's that?
The ex-minister broke silence and said absolutely nothing.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
Yeah,
I
typical
don't like him.
Canadian politics.
I didn't like him when he was in politics, and I can't stand him now that he's ruined my dream of Katy Perry.
I still want to know more about the whole camouflage thing, man.
I do
That's
too.
got to be some good camouflage, dude.
No kidding. How does that even happen?
Well, you'd think at night that the vehicle would like go cold and they could throw up like a thermal drone and find the stupid thing or something, but apparently they
not.
haven't done that yet.
Apparently not.
So you asked me to chill out with you. What's up, man?
I just want to hang out. Hang out.
Cool beans, cool beans.
Give me a couple seconds here and I'll be right with you. Give me a couple seconds. All right. Hey, audience members, I'm going to ask a favor if you don't mind. I don't ask you guys for much. I don't ask you guys for really anything. Except tune on in. We are a lot of channels. I've talked to a lot of hosts again recently. A lot of channels are getting shadow banned again. I'll give you an example. 2 weeks ago, our average live listenership on YouTube, X, and our other platforms, we'd average about 210 to 240 people a night. Right now, we are struggling to get 100. Yeah. Right now, we're struggling to get usually around 110 to 120. I don't know what's happened with the algorithms in the last couple of weeks, but it is absolutely shit kicking this channel and other
It's
channels.
mind-boggling, man.
It is absolutely mind-boggling. And I'm going to ask a favor, guys. When I know I ask you guys if you could leave a comment after the show or whatever, because it does help with the algorithms. But if you love this show the way you do, and I know you guys do, if you guys could share the show on your social media platforms, even before it starts, okay? Invite your friends over. Let's get our audience back going, because what's happening when you get shadow banned is they don't send the notifications out to your listenership.
Yeah, don't be stingy, man. Share like your mama taught you. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's share Dave around a little bit.
Dave would greatly appreciate that, because Dave kind of likes doing what he's doing. And, a lot of other good hosts out there do it too. One of the people I talked to about it is Dave Schrader. Him and I talked about it. You guys all love Dave Schrader. Who does not like Dave Schrader? There's not a person out there who doesn't like Dave Schrader. He's such a nice guy. He's suffering from it too. And other platforms as well. We are getting absolutely stomped by the algorithm. So if you love a show, guys, do the show host a favor. It doesn't matter whether it's this show or other shows that you like. Okay? If you've seen their numbers go down, do yourself a favor and share the show.
I mean, where else are you going to hear about black market condoms? I mean, come on.
Absolutely. You will not find other shows talking about black market condoms. You just won't. You just won't.
And this is where all your friends are, right? So it's always easy to make new friends, and in today's day and age, this is the kind of friends that you need to make. You guys hold us accountable. You help us be the best people that we can be. That's the kind of people that you need to have around you. So let's share that a little bit too. Let's bring some more people in, some more good people that we like to have around us and hold us accountable.
Absolutely.
Sounds like me.
Absolutely. And I'll give you an example here. And Terry, you might kick my ass for saying this, but I'll say this publicly. 2 years ago, I was making off this show about $60 to $70 a night. That includes super chats and paid advertisement from YouTube. About $60 to $70 a show. You know, today I am lucky to make $25 a show. And I'm a business.
Is there 12? You
And
would not believe the amount of people that I have heard that from.
yeah. And you know what? I'm not one of those shows. Hey, I mention the super chat all the time. Okay, but I'm not one of those shows. And there are shows out there. If you want me to stay on air, you need to keep paying me. I'm not that guy, because I'm going to keep doing this because I have my radio stations that support me.
I'm going to drop this, Dave, and you're probably going to be pissed about it, but I'm going to drop it anyway. Talking to Jimmy Church.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy thought that Dave was in the gravy, man. He is floored that Dave's not over 100K or more.
Yeah, that's true. That's a true story. He gave me shit about it.
Yep.
He did.
And,
right?
I mean, you've got the best people in the chat. You guys ask the best questions. You're an intelligent audience. I mean, it's a great place to come to, where I was so relieved when I found out SOR that it was a place that I could come and talk about my experiences and not feel like I had to wear like a tinfoil hat. You know what I mean? It was cool. And it is cool. And a lot of people, when you discover something like this, I mean, there's a lot of podcasts out there who talks about the just the UFO subject. That's another cool thing about what Dave does, man, is he talks about paranormal, the paranormal, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Dave, what kind of pants does a ghost wear? The paranormal pants, man. SOR specials, right?
Uh-huh. No,
So,
and look, we know who our lifers are around here. You guys are here almost every night. Some of you are here every night. And trust me when I say this, it is so appreciative. It really is appreciative. And you guys don't see me emotional very much. There are times you have, but Terry has been a rock to me over the years. He has been an absolute rock. And that's why I call him my 3 a.m. MFer, right? Because he always picks up the phone. And the one thing that I can say is Terry has heard me pull my hair out so many times about everything about this show. He is the guy I go to. He's that guy. He's that guy.
I'm going to kind of clear up a misnomer here too. That, you've had a lot of people on the show with you over the years. Some good, some bad, some indifferent. And you've got a lot of static at times when people depart and go their own ways. But what people don't realize about what Dave does is a lot of the people that he brings on the shows, I mean, it's worked out beforehand. Dave brings them on to get their face out there, to help promote other people so they can do this too, right? And then when they're no longer on the show, it's all of a sudden that Dave's a bad guy and Dave's done this and Dave's done that. It's not been like that at all. Not my experience or any other person's experience that's ever worked with Dave has left Spaced Out Radio with a bad taste in their mouth. And that's saying something. Over a decade that Dave's been on, and it's been over 10 years now. Here Dave sits. And another thing that you guys don't know about Dave is the drive that this guy has. He works a regular job every day. He's got a little boy that is the love of his life, a great little hockey player. Of course, his wife at home as well. He gets up in the morning, he goes to work, he comes home, he eats a little dinner, and then he's in the studio doing this. And he does this because it's his passion. And I think that that kind of passion, that kind of drive, that kind of dedication should have been rewarded a long time ago. That's just my own personal opinion.
I would agree with that. You know,
And in saying that, Dave, unfortunately, I do have to run this evening because I have to get up in the morning and do my day job.
you go, buddy. I appreciate you. I'll call you tomorrow after I'm done work.
Good night, guys. Thanks again for having me on, and I will see you all next week. Ciao for now.
Well, you know what? I don't want it to make it sound like it's a sob story or anything like that, because I wouldn't punish myself like this if I didn't believe in what we are doing. And I love doing what I do. Guys, I do. Okay. And I've got a great support network regarding that. And so, no, I'm not going anywhere. No, this strange shadow banning that's going on is not going to stop what we do or anything like that. We're trying to combat it, find things. We know what we need to do in order to try and mix things up and shake things up. A lot of you guys don't know is I have found a videographer that's going to be helping me out, and he's just getting warmed up. He hasn't really he started, but he hasn't started yet, and so that's kind of where we are with things right now. But when you start noticing giant dips in audience and you haven't changed the format, you haven't done anything different in the last few weeks, and then all of a sudden you see something weird like this happen, it is something that you kind of shake your head at and you're like, what's going on here? And the thing is, a lot of the bigger YouTube channels, this is what they do. There's some brilliant creators out there that this is what they do full time. This is their job. They're entertainers. It doesn't matter whether you like puzzle channels like Chris Ramsey before he got into the UFOs. Okay. And I'm a subscriber to his channel. I like his work. Everything's so clean and cut. Or whether it's Mr. Beast, or whether it's I Show Speed, or whether it's Carl Crusher, or whoever it may be. There is a lot of people who are doing this full time who have an immaculate understanding of how the technology works with the algorithms. And I wish I was about 20 years younger, because I might be able to understand how it all works. I can pronounce the fancy words, except the password sometimes. But in trying to figure out how to get the balance on everything, and today, in order to be successful, you have to be a videographer, you have to be an editor, you have to be a voiceover specialist, you have to be able to do things because that on short time, because that's what most people want. So we're working on it. We've got some good plans, but like I said, I don't often ask for help. And all I'm asking you guys for the next couple weeks is, if you don't mind just sharing the show, inviting your friends over who are night owls like you, and say, hey, come join me in this chat room. I think you're going to like it. I think you're going to like the topics. I think you're going to like what we do. We can take it from there. We just need that opportunity. If you guys can help us out, comment on the show, that helps. Thumbs up, that helps. Thumbs down, that helps. And trust me, there's been a couple of shows where I would give a thumbs down too. So it's interesting. It really is. So we're trying our best here. But if I could ask that favor from all of you who are here live right now, and those who are listening afterwards on the podcast side, I would greatly appreciate the favor. And it's not just for me, guys. It's for all the shows you listen to. Okay. All the shows that you enjoy. Maybe you enjoy listening to Paranormal Portal podcast with Brent Thomas, who does an amazing show. I think he is an underrated host, not just because he's a friend of mine and he is a good person. Okay. I mean, I look at him and I look at his audience and I look at Martin Willis, another good guy. Okay. Bigfoot Rob. Okay. Another good guy. There's dozens of good people out there that are being shadow banned by this mess. And you know what? It's not about the super chat. It's not about gaining money. It's literally about helping spread the word so that way people can try and break these ugly algorithms that are shadow banning channels on our topics. That's what it comes down to. And yeah, unfortunately it is happening and it sucks, right? It really does suck. So that's pretty much it. That's all I got. That's all I got for tonight. Tomorrow night on the show, Travis Willier Moose comes back. We're going to have some fun with him. I know you guys like him. All right. And I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's show. I really did. Thank you to Shelly, Jake, T-Bone, and T-Bone again for gifting a membership, as well as Area 54 for the super chats. Do me a favor, if you don't mind, and I want you to leave a comment after the show. Tell me what you think. Tell me your stories. Okay. And as well, share the show. That's all I ask. And once again, not just for me, but for all the shows that you enjoy. It helps us out. As creators, it helps us out. And we'd appreciate that. All right. Thank you, guys. Love you all. We'll see you tomorrow night. Okay? Have a good one.
Stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
If you need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.